Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Four-man rush. Pass caught. And it's fumbles, and it's going to wind up at the 1 yard line. Cooper Kupp. Hand the ball off here. Here's Walker. Kenneth Walker inside the 40. Kenneth Walker is out in front. Kenneth Walker, touchdown Seahawks. Too bad lead it. Third and 8 is picked off. Intercepted by, speaking of Josh Wallace, there is Josh Wallace. And he will take it to the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty easy, to be honest with you, to keep these guys focused with what happened a couple years ago in this exact same game, in the exact same scenario, having a week off and then facing a good North Dakota team that had us down 14 in the second half. And, you know, we found a way to bounce back and get a win at the end. I think we won the game by 8. And believe me, we're talking a lot about that going into this one. That the getaway game is always a dangerous one. And, you know, I dealt with it in the NBA with All-Star break. And it's human nature. You look forward to having a few days off and getting an opportunity to spend time with your family. But you have to stay focused and go out and take care of business before your little, I guess, semi-vacation starts.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, Austin?
Oh, I'm just reliving this Thursday night football game. That had to be one of the best Thursday night football games we've had in a while.
It was certainly one of the strangest endings.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see a 2-point conversion successfully get fumbled into the end zone. They don't draw that up on Wednesday, that's
often,
for sure.
No, you do not. And I'm grateful because the Seahawks have left the door open for my 49ers to win the division.
So I was going to ask you, you watched that game, and so, I mean, you mentioned the end result being kind of a chance for the 49ers to carve their own path. But, man, does it not – from a neutral observer, it looks like the path of the NFC West goes through those two teams.
Yeah.
But as a 49er, do you still feel like you have a chance between those two?
Well, yeah, because theoretically, you're not – like, especially if you win the division, you only have to play one of them.
Fair.
Right? So give me a one-game scenario. I'll take my chances. We'll see what we can do here.
The NFC West, man. It's just a shame that the NFC South is going to have a representative and the NFC West is going to have 3 of them. That doesn't really seem fair.
Unfair and unbalanced, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we should definitely try and get more NFC South teams in there.
I think so. I just need one. I just want one. Big weekend. Huge. Tampa Bay, Carolina, game of the weekend. That's the game everyone's talking about, I think.
Let's see. They've got...
who can lose by as little as possible.
In their division, they have 23 total wins. The NFC West has 36. And that includes...
That's pretty good. I'll take that. That's pretty good.
That includes 3-11 Arizona, who's not doing like a ton of heavy lifting.
Well,
there.
I mean, the Jacoby Brissett era has been phenomenal.
Electric.
Who doesn't love that?
It's been electric.
That's got to be the most casual 2-point conversion ever, right?
Yeah, the guy just picks it up.
He just picks it up, right?
He just happened to pick it up.
That was a couple of years ago, too, didn't that? That was it was like the NFC Championship game, and did Cutler like fumble it or throw it backwards, and someone had picked it up just randomly and ran it into the end zone? I think it was the Packers.
If it was Jay Cutler, then it was more than a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
I mean, he hasn't been in the NFC for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
My perception of NFL time is a little bit off.
That's kind of my perception of all time.
Like I see Joe Flacco still out there. I'm like, yeah, this guy's elite. He's good. I want him on my team. The Phillip Rivers signing didn't shock me. I was like, yeah, I would have him in a heartbeat.
It's like, why wasn't Phillip Rivers on a team already? It's like, oh, he's 44?
Yeah. Yeah, that does hurt when you realize like a quarterback. But so Cam Newton clearly hasn't played in a long time.
Still 8 years younger than Phillip Rivers.
When he was out of the league for the first time and then came back to play at Carolina, I had thought to myself, he's only like 29. Like he probably has another like second half of his career. No, he did not. And
to be fair, he was only like 29, but he did not have a second half of his career. So the last time that
was still like 4 years ago.
The last time that Jay Cutler was in the NFC was 2016. So that's almost a decade ago. And I don't think that was a good Bears team in 2016. Not. You kind of just have to throw a dart and hope maybe you found a good Bears team.
Yeah.
Like over the course of his tenure there. But no, it's glad we got to reminisce about Jay Cutler this morning.
That's always good.
I like that Bears team. I miss those days.
Or Schmidt would call it Jay Cutler.
Yes, Cutler.
Who's this Jay Cutler?
I do like it seems like once a decade now we'll get a Vanderbilt quarterback. We got Cutler.
Yeah.
Now we got Pavia.
Yeah,
so 2 decades from now we just got to wait for the next one.
Sort of interested. I'm sort of interested what his NFL future looks like.
I was thinking about that today, and I wanted to bring it up with you too, because last year at this time we were talking about Shedeur and where he was going to be at this point right now, right? He was like the 2nd or 3rd projected pick.
I mean, it was him and Cam Ward, right? We're kind of the 1-2 for quarterbacks for sure.
Because we saw how the NFL season was kind of parlaying, and we knew that there was probably going to be quarterbacks at the top of the draft. But is Pavia? I don't think Pavia's up there as quarterback rankings, right? Like he's not one of the top, because Mendoza's been up there.
No. Well, that's part of the reason Pavia came back, was that like his NFL prospects aren't. I don't think he's viewed as a high level NFL prospect. Right. That's not to say that he won't do well, because nobody thought he'd do well at this point. So we're just kind of out here, right? But I do wonder what it looks like. He strikes me as like a Dylan Gabriel type pick in terms of like highly productive, older quarterback. Nobody's in love with any of his physical traits, but you just kind of can't deny the production. And I think his personality will speak to some teams. I think it's going to bother others, but kind of that brash bravado, maybe a little bit rough around the edges, but like you kind of know what you're getting with Diego Pavia. I think that's going to speak to certain teams, and they'll maybe want that in their quarterback room.
I just don't think that they'll want everything that comes with him, though, right? Because there is something to say, okay, you have an ultra talented guy. Yeah. We can handle some of the extracurriculars and everything else that comes with him. But his name and his voice is much louder than his play would be in the NFL, at least to start, because he's not going to come in and be your starting quarterback.
So that's the thing I was going to say, is I do think he's a guy. I don't even know if it's because he doesn't have the circus that Shedeur did in terms of.
I don't know. He had 90 people at his Heisman party.
That's fair. I think there was more baggage or at least baggage that people in the NFL don't like with Shedeur.
Okay.
Whereas I think Diego himself is going to make it uncomfortable to not be your starter.
Yeah.
Like he does not seem like a guy that's just cool learning and taking backup reps. So that to me is the hard part about Diego Pavia as an NFL quarterback, is like, is he cool sitting and learning and waiting for his chance? I don't know. That doesn't really seem like his personality. Didn't really seem like Shedeur's either, but he kind of did. And, now he's getting an opportunity. But I also think that I don't think the talent was the issue with Shedeur either.
Yeah.
Like the Shedeur thing was all just, we want nothing to do with this kid or his family or anything like that. Whereas with Pavia, it's like, he's like, I know he says he's 6 feet tall.
He said he was 6'1" in the Heisman photo.
Yeah, some of those Heisman photos make it look like he's my height. Maybe.
Well, you're 6 foot, so I don't worry about it.
I didn't even ever lie to be 6 foot, because I didn't think anybody would buy it.
And speaking of 6 foot, you got an NCCAA shout out.
I did. Oh, I was
huge
thrilled.
Online.
Yeah, it was.
I've never seen that conglomeration of letters together. Like, I've seen NCAA.
Yeah.
The extra C threw me off, and I was like, clearly a typo.
No, not a typo. That's a real thing. That's where I played my college basketball. I did some coaching there as well. It stands for the National Christian College Athletic Association. It's full of Bible colleges and Christian colleges. Some of them are very good at basketball. We were not. My team was very bad. Teams I coached were very good. We, made the national tournament several times. But no, it was really cool, and the best thing is they were crapping on Marquette in the tweet about the NCCAA, because they are shooting 17% on open catch and shoot threes this year.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if you know this, that's very, very bad.
It's not good.
And it was like dead last in D1.
Is 17% of anything good?
I would take 17% of like Apple.
Okay. That's a good point.
I would be very rich.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a good argument.
Yeah. See, nailed it.
You're always ready for an argument.
But then the guy, he's like, "Oh, I realized I had the D1 filter on my stats." So he unclicked it, and he included D2, D3, NAIA, NCCAA, and one that I had not heard of, USCCAA, I think.
Is that the Rob Gronkowski commercials or?
No, that's USAA.
Oh, okay.
That's
My
different.
bad. Sorry.
I don't know what that one is, and I think I don't remember if it included JUCO or not. But there was basically like 1,400 teams.
Yeah.
And I think only 20 were lower than Marquette. They were like 1,440 out of 1,460.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did we get an NCCAA shout out, we also got a Marquette Sucks shout out, which I'm very pleased about.
That your least favorite Big East opponent?
Oh, no, it's definitely UConn.
Fair.
I hate
sorry.
UConn.
I always forget about them.
Shaka is, I think, my second least favorite coach, though.
Yeah, right.
I really hate that.
Well, he's the sixth man on the court.
I really hate that when he pretends to play defense. I really just want to
I love the energy.
I want to punch him in that shiny head of his, just knock him.
He does notably have a shiny head.
Yeah, and he also notably
those lights have to be coming straight down.
Has a real like what are we doing, man? Like I know you play deep
coaching.
No, he's not coaching.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
active
not
coaching.
No, that's not coaching.
Fire doesn't coach from a bench, buddy. My bad.
Listen, I was a big sit on the chair and just kind of what's going on here. Stand up when you need
the
to.
Occasional.
Stand up when you
three.
No, I tell the assistants, be like, hey, do one of those.
Oh yeah.
Hey, let's run this. Call that.
Never the whiteboard guy. Where you grab the whiteboard guy? You go behind the bench. Go here, coach.
I would do some whiteboard every once in a while. It depends on what the situation. What I had my specialties that I was in charge of.
Yeah.
Specific, usually offensive sets or what we wanted to do there, or if I helped out with the zone defenses a little bit too. So
I respect that.
Had my areas of expertise. I'm not trying to get outside my lane.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, notably in basketball, you got to stay in your lane.
Well, only if you're talking to LeVar.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm doing the one thing that I hate when you and DB do. It's hit 2 million topics in the first 15 minutes.
Well, that's your fault.
It is. I just keep going around.
Funky Giblet says 17% of Warren Buffett's conglomerate would be just fine. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like that. Take it. TK, if I won the lottery 17% of the time, that'd be pretty good. I agree.
That's high. That's a high
that.
number.
That's a good number. That's a
high
very good number.
Yeah.
Oh, Rico. This is actually topic of the day.
This is breaking news.
He actually moved it up. It was supposed to be Tuesday, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think he could because he told me it was. I know he said it was Tuesday. So Rico is getting a haircut today at 1:30. He says. I know he said it was going to be Tuesday because I had put Nebraska basketball to lose that next game.
Yeah, we had him on upset watch against New Hampshire.
Yes, yeah.
Now
I think I actually just picked. I picked New Hampshire to cover. I think is what I picked.
Now we are on upset watch for North Dakota on Sunday.
Great.
Which we just heard Fred talk about.
Semi-vacation. Oh no!
Right before the break.
Great, Rico. Thanks a lot.
So if you're not aware, Rico's hair is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
He has caused many losses, many injuries, many heartbreaks across sports, across leagues, Nebraska football, Nebraska volleyball, Knicks basketball. He's now coming for Nebraska basketball.
I noticed he did this after the NBA Cup as well.
Yeah, he waited until and they're not even going to raise the banner. Come on, Rico.
Well, that's the dumbest thing in the world. It's a league mandate that you have to raise a banner. And they said no.
I think it's dumb that a banner exists for the Commissioner's Cup, but it's either a thing or it's not.
Hey, as a proud Crown champion, you raise a banner for whatever.
Do you want to get into some Crown bracketology with Creighton here? Because I think they got a shot after the way they played against Xavier.
They're one of the Big Five. Yeah, they can make it.
I'm actually rooting for that outcome if they don't make the NCAA tournament, because then
you want to ruin my bit.
No, I just want to be like, hey, listen. It's nice to raise a trophy sometimes.
I think when we talked about this,
do you think Creighton would raise a Crown banner?
Yes, I think they would.
2026 Crown champs.
Now it would be very.
Did
funny.
Nebraska?
No, not yet.
Nebraska,
I think they're gonna wait until a potential loss happens, and then they'll be like, hey, how do we get spirits back up? Crown banner.
Okay.
It's the only way to get the PBA crowd back in it.
Well, you got to.
It would be very funny in many aspects. Creighton wins the crown. And they put up a crown banner before Nebraska put up a crown banner because then Nebraska couldn't even claim their own crown.
Yeah, they would have lost. They would have lost the crown before they claimed the crown.
Yes, they would have lost the amount of time needed to claim your crown. But what can you do? No, I mean, who wouldn't like what they saw from Creighton though on Wednesday? I mean, that was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's impressive. I'm curious to see if it carries over to additional games.
Well,
right?
the other part of it too, though, is that the Big East hasn't given you reason to think otherwise. Where if you play well in conference, everything's still on the table for you.
Yeah.
Everything that was bad in the non-conference, everything you couldn't figure out, as bad as you looked in your most marquee matchups. And frankly, I think as upsetting as the Nebraska loss can be for a Creighton fan, that Kansas State game should have put a pit in your stomach, because that should have been a game that you got.
Yeah, that's a game you need to win.
Yeah.
Like Nebraska's actually good. So losing that game isn't like, you don't want to lose it like that if you're Creighton, right? Yeah. But losing that game to Nebraska was the most likely outcome because of how the two teams were playing.
How it was lost is different than losing it, yes.
But the Kansas State game is one where you look at it and you go, okay, Kansas State was in the same neighborhood of where Creighton was at the time.
Yeah.
And that's a game like Creighton needed to win. Like,
you almost wish you could move that Utah Tech game like up to that and then move Kansas State back down to
I'm not sure. Later. So here's the thing that I'm kind of playing around with in my head with Creighton is I think you have to accumulate a certain amount and style of losses for the move that Greg McDermott made with the roster to actually work.
That's fair.
Right? Utah Tech sort of just like that plasters over things the way like Maryland Eastern Shore does, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, 1 by 40, not a big deal.
And North Dakota too, notably as well.
Yeah.
Like, you saw the issues.
I would say North Dakota was closer to exposing things, I think, than covering them up with like, and not that North Dakota's, I mean, they're 325 in Ken Palm. Like that's a bad basketball.
You were putting makeup over pimples at that point. Like you weren't doing anything to solve the issue. Like, you were just covering it up. Yeah.
15, even like Nichols, like that 20-point win over Nichols is kind of like, ugh. Like that should be like, that's a little dicey there. And so you look at it and you go, okay, I don't think moving Utah Tech up helps at all. I think having it where it is kind of in a nice stretch where Creighton has an opportunity to accumulate some wins and gain some confidence in sort of their new world order that Greg McDermott has issued to them. But I did this with Nebraska, where I'm looking through Ken Palm, I'm looking through kind of their likely outcomes, what I think likely outcomes are, and I had Nebraska around 24-7, which is pretty close to what Ken Palm has. It kind of changes on the day to day, but 8 of their games are between 40 and 60% win probability, sort of in the coin flip zone. That is, and 5 of those, he has them as losses right now.
Yeah.
So that very easily, they could be much better than 24-7 if some of those coin flip games go their way. Currently, he's got Creighton at 17-14, going the rest of the way out, which would be 11-9, which that's squarely in Crown territory, by the way.
It is, yeah.
Like
that's notably Nebraska's. That's pretty much a record from a year ago.
And they don't have nearly as many coin flip games as Nebraska did, right? So they're like like there's
that's surprising.
Like St. John's at home is a coin flip game.
Okay.
Providence on the road is a coin flip game. You've got Georgetown away is a coin flip game, and Butler away is a coin flip game. I think those are their only games. Oh, and Villanova at home. So they've got 5 compared to Nebraska's 8, and they're about split even. They're 2-3 on that one as well. So, like, they've got some work to do to get better than the 17-14. Whereas I think Nebraska 24-7 is actually kind of on the conservative projection for that team at this point, which is like Creighton's going to have to do some work. And the thing that the numbers can't really account for is if what we saw against Xavier is more real than what we saw the 10 games previously.
Yes.
That would change these projections quite a bit. But
you're not going to beat all of your conference opponents by 31 points.
Like,
no, or 41. Yeah, you're not going to.
No,
you're not
but if you've got that version of Creighton, they're going to theoretically win more of these games. They're projected even as not even coin flip losses, right? Whereas Nebraska, I think that you've got a pretty accurate picture of what that team is. And so I think the projection holds quite a bit more water. And I still think it's a little to the negative side. Like 24-7 seems like a very plausible, nothing crazy good has to happen for Nebraska to get to 24-7. Like, I think that's very much just like right in front of them on the table. They'll have to go 11-7 the rest of the way out in conference play. That's not, I mean, that would put them at 13-7 overall because they already won the 2, which is a good conference record, but it's not crazy. You're not asking them to go like, 15-5 or like that's a very much on the table conference record.
We've kind of knocked Nebraska at different times in past years on how they built their non-conference schedule. Not that they went through a murderer's row this past year or this, I guess, past month or so, but they've still scheduled enough tougher-looking games. Like they had the Kansas State, they had Oklahoma, but strategically, those were perfectly balanced because people will say, oh, yeah, you got a neutral site win at Kansas State. You got a neutral site win against Oklahoma. They're probably not going to look at the factors and say, oh, it was only 2 hours from your hometown.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was in Kansas City, notable home to many Husker fans. Like, that's a great place to be for Nebraska. And even if they had lost against Illinois, they were still going to be in a very good place no matter what. But the win obviously puts them in a much different category of feeling comfortable already heading into more Big Ten play, especially this next week coming up when you get those non-conference games. They're in an excellent spot, and arguably maybe the teams coming up. How do you not let this all kind of fall apart and keep it moving forward, especially when you start to see a little bit of some stressors and you start to maybe an injury comes up or something like that happens? Like I'm very curious to see how this team will adjust when something hits the fan eventually.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't hit the fan, then great. I mean, Nebraska's going to be rolling.
Headley says, if Creighton makes the crown, I'll root for them to keep it in Nebraska. If they make any other tournament, I hope they lose first round.
No, I want them to win.
That's a weird. It's a weird hill to die on, is keep the crown in Nebraska. But all right, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do, it's all right.
Yeah.
Should we set up the show for today?
You can do whatever you want, man. It's your show. I'm literally just here.
We're out of here, right? At 8:00, we're going to talk to our guy Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska. See if he's got any thoughts about what's been going on. See if there's any
what has been happening.
Transfer portal scuttlebutt.
Which quarterback do we start with? His favorite or Nebraska's ex?
Right, exactly.
Probably gonna have to do both.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's really impressive.
We'll have to see here.
I didn't realize we had Tim drop Shane. That's good.
They're a real player there. Like they're just not a seat at the table. Like they're a real player there.
Shane's got everybody drops.
It has already seemed like a bit of a shit show.
Oh, whoa.
I
do remember that one.
Easy, Shane.
that was back in the radio days.
And then at 9:30, we've got Wilson Moore. He's covering Husker basketball for the Omaha World Herald.
I love Wilson.
So we'll get into a little more Husker hoops with Wilson at 9:30 as well. Then, of course, we've got Bet On It to close the show.
Yes.
Big college football playoff weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting. We got games tonight.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
A game. I
had the thought walking Ava this morning. She loved it, by the way.
Terrific.
She brought you up. She's like, "Oh, what's Ravi doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna see him."
You're gonna go hang out.
Yeah.
You should have brought her.
She, me and her were talking about it because hanging out with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful weather for football. Wish it was in Lincoln.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Took me back to 10-2.
That'd be pretty cool.
What we were 4 months ago.
Well, listen, the optimism obviously ran dry a little bit.
You choose to be optimist.
At least for this year. I'm still optimistic for next year. I'm still, I did make the prediction that Nebraska makes a college football playoff by 2026. So that's next year.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. It'll be interesting to see. It would be
25.
I will say it would be incredibly ironic if they do it after Dylan has left. Right? Because my projection was, okay,
you'd win the breakup.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
100%, especially if he ends up at Louisville.
Yeah, what does Nebraska need to do to win the breakup? It's actually like a good. I think you have to wait to find out where he's going.
Yes.
And
his landing spot matters.
We can do this. The fan bases can do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It really doesn't. It's all conjecture. It's a June conversation when we're like reaching for content.
I'm petty, so I'm definitely going to think about it.
Yeah.
But I do think it matters where he lands first. And I do think it's interesting though. My prediction was based on, okay, it'd be Dylan in his third year, hopefully his last year before he goes to the NFL. You'd have 3 years of Coach Rhule recruits and things like that. So if it were to happen in this sort of jumbled mess of all this other stuff, it'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Because I'd be right and for all the wrong reasons. And I fully acknowledge that. Like, my prediction, while accurate, would be totally empty because it didn't happen for any of the reasons that I thought it would.
Wow.
I'm still going to take the W.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Win's
but
win.
It would be incredibly ironic if it was just like, yeah, none of the things you thought were going to happen, but here you go.
You still win.
Exactly.
It'd be like the 2-point conversion. You stumbled into a win.
Yeah, you're like, we didn't execute that play at all. Even like
that's actually a culmination of Sam Darnold's career to this point. Just literally like nothing went right, but yet you still got here.
Here we are. We're out here, right? This is where the magic happens. No, it is. You know what's funny about that is even in a broken play scenario, they still didn't act the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
In the sense that, you're taught anytime the ball is even questionably like like the just casual, pick up the football.
Yeah.
Like they didn't do any of it right.
That's like a third grade tackle league.
They didn't even do the broken play right. There's like, I guess I'll have to pick this up and throw it to the ref.
Good thing he established himself in the end zone.
I'll say good thing he just happened to be in the end zone when he picked it up. Like, what are we doing here? It's very strange. Football's weird sometimes, man.
Gotta love it. Gotta love football.
You do gotta love football.
Never happens in tennis, tell you that.
You don't even know.
No 2-point conversions in tennis, I know that.
No, but wild stuff happens all the time. It's crazy.
All right.
You hit a frame winner, just like, I didn't mean to do that at all.
Yeah, we're speaking the same language.
You know, you hit a net cord and it just kind of rolls over.
A net cord?
Net cord. It's like the cord at the top of the net.
That like core.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I will say, you see all these, especially in professional tennis, and you see amateur people do it all the time. Is like when you hit the top of the net and it goes over, you're like the courtesy is to apologize because you didn't mean to do it. I've never once been sorry, so I'm just like, it happens.
No, listen,
W for me.
If you get it, own it.
100%.
If you could master that serve, you do it a million times.
Well, you can't do it on serve because that's a
boo.
It's a let.
Okay,
but,
fine.
Master
that hit.
If I could master that shot where you're just like right over the net and just falls over, do it a million times out of a million.
Same thing in volleyball. If you can master the serve where it hits the top of the tape and it like lands.
Yeah, it just rolls right over. 100%. I do it 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I would not be sorry a single time. Listen, got to do what you got to do.
I'm just going to take a win where I can take a win.
Yeah, exactly.
And listen, I'm no athletic freak. I got to do what I got to do.
Listen, I think you're a better athlete than you give yourself credit for.
Thank you. Needed that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
Sydney Red Raiders out here representing.
Career backup.
Listen, you're still on the team.
Yeah.
It's like you're like Brian Scalabrine, right? Right now.
Right?
Well, if the sunscreen fits. All
right.
He goes.
No need for that.
When he wins the title with Boston, he's like, right now I'm a backup, I'm a scrub. He's like 5 years from now, people will think I'm a rotation player. He's like 20 years from now, I'm gonna tell people I was a starter and an all-star. Nobody remember.
Yeah, no, I don't. You can tell me anything.
I got the ring. You telling me anything I want.
No one's benefited more from the internet than Brian Scalabrine.
I will say one of the funniest things, tying both high school football into that weird story, is in 2003 when Miller North won their first state title.
Congratulations.
Fred Petito comes into the weight room, and I'm in there working out with some of the baseball guys, and the football guys and baseball guys would lift together. And he goes, hey, if you want your state championship rings, you got to order them by this date, whatever. And he's like, if you were on the team, and he's like, heck, even if you weren't on the team, 20 years from now, nobody's going to remember. You can get one too.
That's very funny.
And I was like, you know what, Fred? I like your style.
We had that when I was in high school. We lost to Gretna in like the Class B quarterfinals or something, and it was the furthest Sydney had ever gotten in the football postseason. And on that bus ride back, or like that Monday at school, whatever it was, I remember we were telling people, well, we'll just tell everyone this is the state championship like 15 years from now. No, I mean, who's going to go back and look it up? No one is. But then Sydney made the state title this past year, and so now everyone looked it up. Yeah, thanks. That was all me.
So Mr. Bueno, Mr. Good says, good morning, fellas. Ravi, I have a student with a 58.7%. He's a pain in the ass, and now he's asking for mercy. What would you do as his teacher? He's a freshman athlete, and I'm assuming could get cut is what that says there. Listen,
no mercy, Mr. Good, says TK.
Listen, Mr. Bueno, here's where I would land on this. number one, I studied to be a teacher for about a semester before I realized I was like, I don't like these children at all. I also immediately stopped coaching high school basketball because I was like, I can't do this. This is rough. So take that information with you as I give my answer. I actually do think it is really important that, especially young in life, when the consequences are relatively minor, that people learn lessons about failure and consequences and how to move on from that and how to overcome those things. I think as a freshman in high school, getting cut from the team, while would be traumatic for him in the moment, I think still gives him time, if he's a good enough athlete, that a scholarship or anything like that's on the table. I think it would shake him, give the opportunity at least to kind of shake him into understanding he's got to do better if he wants to continue that part of his life in terms of athletics and things like that, because it's not going to change in college. It's not going to change the rest of high school. Sometimes you got to give him. That's exactly right, TK. It's better
that's exactly right.
Better to learn hard lessons when the stakes are low. You don't want to learn the lessons about consequences when you're an adult and you're married and you have kids or whatever, and that's the first time you're learning about consequences to your actions. That's a terrible time. Or when you're
exactly right.
you're adult and you're full-time employed, and the first time you learn consequences to your actions and you lose your job or something like that, that's a terrible time to learn for the first time about consequences to your actions. 14 years old, that's a perfect time.
Yeah.
That is the time to learn consequences for your actions. That's why I appreciate, in all honesty, and I'll say something nice because he's not here. That's one of the reasons I appreciate what DB does so much, right? Like, he's had opportunities to do other things and whatever, but he loves coaching high school football because I think this is a thing that he appreciates about that age group, that you can give them the tools to get past things like this and to learn from things like this that can actually help them for the rest of their lives. And not everybody's going to, right?
Yeah.
This kid that Mr. Bueno's got very well could, maybe he drops out of school. I don't know. Like, maybe, like, worst case scenario, he just is like, all right, well, I guess if I can't play sports, then there's no reason for me to be here, and it goes the other way, right? But I would argue if you don't do that now, it's going to go the other way at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So you might as well give him an opportunity to have a chance for the rest of his life, as opposed to just waiting for the consequences to hit that he's not going to be ready for.
Well, again, and that's not to get diluted from a different conversation, but there's always all the conversation we had about the Millard South football team and, how they tried to build themselves up for the different opportunities that they tried to present for themselves, and obviously the success that they ended up having. But I said it when we did like a special episode of Nebraska Preps post game, but the NSA's responsibility is the opportunity to play and the opportunity to give student athletes and students across the state a chance to do something new. And what do sports provide you? An opportunity to fail with like literally the lowest stakes possible.
Yeah, 100%.
When I was in 8th grade, I was playing B team basketball and I failed miserably multiple times. And because of many different factors, I'd never played basketball before. I didn't even know what the sport was. That same year, because of the way that the middle school calendar set up, I also wrestled. I also played football, and then I ran track and field in the spring. I got to do 4 different sports, and then I played baseball in the summer.
Yeah.
I got to play 5 sports in a calendar year as a middle schooler who was 12, 13 years old in western Nebraska. Did it change my life significantly? No. But did it actually set me up for maybe future successes that I can't think of right now? Like, potentially, yeah. I mean, there was definitely failures that I had along the way that either taught me being like, okay, well, you're not here, so what do you have to do to get to whatever you're looking for? And it also hyper focuses you, because if I thought I was going to be this transcendent athlete and I put all my eggs into that basket, again, not to get too diverted to a different story, when I was a junior in high school, I thought that I was just going to be a high school football player. That was my ultimate career goal. Didn't think anything past it. Got a really bad concussion, couldn't play football, was medically unable to be able, like, never got cleared by doctors, PTs, anything after that. So I didn't know what to do after that. And so Sydney Raiders television started, very early version of Strive. And I was like, if I can't play football, I'm going to talk football.
Yeah.
And then here I am from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't an opportunity that, I wasn't having a 58% in class. I wasn't, skipping those opportunities and stuff. But I could have just dipped out and ran a tire center out in Sydney, and then you never hear from me, and I'd be doing that. maybe I would have been successful. Maybe I would have just stayed with my parents. Who knows? Like whatever that case is. But it gave me more opportunities to be able to do stuff. And that's the whole point of being a young person is to hopefully be pushed by someone who can help guide you along the way to more opportunities until you find a spot in which you want to personally grow and personally push yourself into how far you want to take those opportunities.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't even have to be something like dramatic, kind of like you said. You can't point to one thing and be like, well, this is where sports helped me. But like I can tell just from working with you, like you're competitive, like you work really hard, you're resilient. Like when things go wrong, you try and figure out ways to overcome that. And I have to imagine playing sports that you were bad at or that you struggled at or whatever had a big part in learning those traits, right? Like it's kind of a day-to-day life type of thing. But I really do think that especially when you're younger, like it starts to get different when you're looking at a guy and they're in college and it's like, well, he's probably going to get drafted. If we hammer him for this, it's going to affect his draft stock, which affects his livelihood. And like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, right? But the stakes can start to get higher, right?
Well, and also, too, for younger kids and for high school kids, middle school kids, whatever age range you want to put on them, they're not going to have the mentality and the maturity to say, I need someone to tell me I'm wrong. I need someone to tell me that I need to be pushed. As adults, and I tell this to our boss, Sasha, a lot, too, that I kind of want to be critiqued. I want to be told, like, hey, this wasn't good enough, because if I get those chances to be told, hey, it's not good, no one wants to sit there and be told that they suck at something, right? Like but it's your choice if you eat it or if it eats at you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can either improve from it or you can allow it to become a detriment and then you don't do anything with it. But most kids are not mature enough to be able to have that. But then eventually later in life, they realize, oh, crap, did I need that?
Yeah.
I had to be told no. I had to be told this is something you need to learn from. There's different ways to do it. One of those could be removing something that is something they're passionate and loving about. And another way to do it is, like you said, with DB, and I'm sure he does this a million times over because he's worked with so many different high school kids, is restructuring and reframing and reforming what those different types of new opportunities look like. Like, hey, this wasn't good enough, but we're going to put you in a path for success this way. And whether that's as simple as saying, the linebacker didn't fit correctly on this run play, so we're going to put a different guy in and we're going to teach you how to do that correctly, and until you get that right, you're not coming back in. Or something more transformative in a student's life that is at X, Y, or Z school.
Our chat, of course, being our chat. TK says, as someone who's had several concussions aren't real. You should have kept playing, Austin.
Okay.
That's medical advice from the lawyer.
All right. Thanks, TK.
Asian White says,
don't really have a response to that.
Austin is the white Western Nebraska Booby Miles.
That I will take. That I will take. Although no one ever was clamoring for me to get in. So that was never, that was kind of the opposite of
Put Austin in.
If you want to win, put Austin in.
Hey, that kind of works.
A little bit.
There you go.
Yeah, the booby part sounds way better, though. I don't know why Friday Night Lights doesn't get its respect as a football movie.
Can you cut that out, Shane? The booby part sounds way better, though. That's what Austin just said.
Oh, you know I'm all about that.
All about what?
Cutting stuff out.
No. Okay.
About Friday Night Lights.
I thought he was
Friday
talking
Night
about
Lights.
intimate parts.
No. Never. Well, depends on how I feel about football, I guess. But Friday Not Lights is a good movie. All right with Friday Night Lights.
Like
Are you show or movie guy?
I'm movie 100%.
Over the Friday Night Lights show?
Yeah. Listen, if not to make this like a political thing by any means, but like if my fiance can like watch the Friday Night Lights show and like drool over how hot like the men are in that show, it's not a show for me. Not about that. I want football.
Wow, insecure Austin.
It's not insecurity. I want football. All right. I feel like John Gruden.
Just give me some football, man. Give me some football, man.
Start breathing heavy.
Glad we could try and help, Mr. Bueno.
Yeah.
See what we can do there for you. Do you say you're in Southern California? It's just 5:30 out there. You and Dank are up early, man. Man, good for you guys.
And Derek from Alliance. He's an hour behind. 6:39 right now.
We appreciate you guys. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 before we talk to our guy, Tim VERGHESE. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the season of New Tradition sales event at our brand new Edwards Kia Council Bluffs location. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at just $249 a month. Brand new showroom, big holiday savings. Or lease the 2025 Kia Telluride S starting at $329 a month. Or finance at 0.9% for 60 months. Plus, every new purchase includes a free electric scooter. Don't wait. Celebrate the season at our brand new Edwards Kia location in Council Bluffs.
Fun Millard night. Liz got us off to a great start. Thought the first half we were pretty good at both ends. Second half was more spotty. I felt like we let down defensively. We had too many turnovers. I think at half the turnovers were 13-1, and we had 9 second half turnovers. So we got to clean that up. I told them we can't play to the score, and I felt like we did that a little bit in the second half. But it was nice to see everybody. These two were really good offensively, and made some plays on the other end too. So it's a process, but I think you see how talented our freshman group is, and happy for them. Hopefully they don't, because of the way they shot it, hopefully they're not thinking about leaving to come here and play in this gym. Jamie's going to do a good job here. I just think they're in a tough spot in terms of what the roster was left with, but they'll battle.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you, if you've had any issues with your car lately, especially, it's that time of year, you got some slick roads, it gets a little icy, make sure you call our friends over at Dingman's Collision Center. They've been voted first place Best of Omaha for 20 straight years, and it's for good reasons. Locally and family owned and operated. They've got deep roots in Omaha, just like you do. They live here, raise their families here, and they take pride in serving the same community that they live in every day. And they are the most trusted name in auto repair, in auto collision repair in Omaha. Make sure you check them out, dingmans.com, for all your auto body repair needs. Austin.
Yeah.
How are we doing today? We doing all right?
I'm good. I've got my energy drink down. I know I needed it. We had a late party last night. It was a good time. Good time at the Christmas party with Hurrdat.
Yeah, we got to see a bunch of friends.
Yeah, and old friends too.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't been gone that long.
Yeah, that was crazy. She won a prize though.
Yeah,
she
I
doesn't
mean,
even work here.
Yeah, it does not work here.
It was more crazy on our part to boo her on stage. We shouldn't have done that.
I feel okay about it.
I shouldn't, with the mic in my hand, hosting. I shouldn't have.
I did yell, "She doesn't even go here," Mean Girl style.
Yes, you should have.
No, I did.
You were on your point. You were on point last night because you were doing music karaoke. You were singing every song.
Oh yeah,
you were on it.
I do enjoy. People knows I like to sing. People knows about me.
Like in the choir.
I did. I was actually in choir in college. Yeah.
Is that why you wanted to become like a pastor? Because you could sing well? You would just want to sing in front of people?
So in the types of churches I came up in, the pastor and the music pastor are different people.
Oh, okay.
So that was my brother actually was a music pastor for a while. But no, I think I wanted to be if looking back at it, I think I wanted to be a preacher just because as you could probably tell by my current occupation, like listening to myself talk too much.
Oh, I thought you were going to say be the center of attention.
I mean, it's not that much different.
It's okay. I'm the youngest, so it's easy to see.
Me too.
Easy.
Youngest.
See,
nice.
my mom always brings that up to people because they'll be like, oh, well, you know, why did Austin want to get in that? And she's like, he just loves attention. Like, yeah, no doy.
I'm a Leo. I don't know.
Don't bring signs into this.
Signs like the Mel Gibson movie?
You know, I was gonna say underrated. I actually don't like it that much. It's not my favorite. It's the fact that it's water.
It's kind of dumb. You came to a planet that's got a lot of water on it, homies.
Low key though, first time you see that movie and they show like the television scene when they're all watching it, that's crazy.
You know what so this is how I saw that movie when I was probably like 13 or something. I don't remember when that movie came out.
Mid 2000s?
It was earlier than that, I think.
Shane, you're a movie guy. 2000. I'm gonna say 2005. Am I wrong?
Yeah, probably something like that. 2003,
2002.
Oh, whoa, it's a little bit early.
So I saw that late. 14, 15 years old. You know the thing that I wanted most out of that movie? I wanted like a prequel or documentary style film about Joaquin Phoenix's baseball career. I was fascinated by it. The entire movie, it's all I could think about.
You're just always thinking about Moneyball? You're just constantly thinking about Moneyball.
I love Moneyball so much. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that movie. Is
that your go-to? Like you're on a plane. Moneyball's on a lot of planes.
Yeah, so I'll just throw it on just to have like some background noise.
Mine's Ocean's 11. I could throw Ocean's 11.
I used to do the Ocean's 11 used to be one of my go-tos.
Yep.
I used to, when I was younger, like high school, college, I'd watch movies as I fell asleep. So Ocean's 11 would get thrown on the rotation a lot.
Bad for your sleep, but yeah.
I sleep better. I don't care what I don't know what to tell you. Like I sleep better when I've got a little background noise and a little bit of light going on. But no, yeah. So Ocean's 11 was one of those. But yeah, Moneyball it's got to be hundreds of times that I've seen Moneyball. I just throw it on in the background, you know.
I think my most watched movies are Ocean's 11 because I watch on every plane I ever get on.
Great movie.
Spider-Man 3.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Yeah, I do too.
Very bad.
It's always easy to put on. 300's up there too.
300's good.
I can put those three movies up and I know exactly where I am in the world. Like when that movie, like I could pause it and I could tell you the next line of what happens.
I could tell you the line.
Jeez,
I could tell you.
Cow, that'll wake you up.
I could tell you the line that happens before, and I could tell you the next line coming up. Gladiators like that. I've seen Gladiator a million times. Are you not entertained?
Not Gladiator guy.
Really?
It's on FX too much.
Wow.
I don't need a 4-hour affair.
See, it's only 2.5 when you watch it on I'm part of the DVD generation. You know.
I do love me a $5 movie bin in the DVD Walmart.
Love Gladiator. But no, it's I do watch Moneyball. One of my favorite lines ever, and it's like nobody knows this line because he just sort of says it he's like in the room with his scouts, and there's like a lot of chatter going on, so he sort of says it underneath what everybody else is saying, and they're like trying to describe how great of a hitter this guy is, and like everything they say, like, oh, he's got a beautiful swing, and like the sound off his bat when it makes contact, it explodes, and he goes, If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good?
Moneyball, like you've said many times, Moneyball has something for everything.
It does. 100% does.
Moneyball really does apply to the transfer portal, does it not? Especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Because who'd you just describe with that saying?
If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? Dylan Raiola?
No, DJ Lagway.
Oh.
if he's this projected great quarterback,
right? If he's such a good quarterback, why isn't he quarterback good?
I did not mean to parlay this the way that it is.
No, I'm in. Let's do it.
LSU, right, is probably the number one quarterback spot. You've got probably the best quarterback guru, new head coach.
Great offensive play caller.
You know you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
There's 2 quarterbacks that are probably in the running to be QB1 out of the portal straight to LSU. It's Lagway and probably Chambliss once Ole Miss's season ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're Kiffin.
Does Chambliss have – how much the eligibility does Chambliss have left? Sorry, continue. I'll look.
If Kiffin is able to make this decision, which he does, he literally has Chambliss's phone number. He can text him whenever he wants.
Hey, buddy, good luck this week.
Or Snapchat him. I mean, he's known to do that with college kids every once in a while.
Whoa.
What do you pick? Do you pick the project that has the ultimate upside, that could be the number 1 pick in the draft, that could be, dynasty-altering scenario? Or do you go with the guy that got you as much success as you did this past season and the guy that you already know and trust?
So here's the thing is I don't like DJ Lagway doesn't make any sense to me in this scenario.
To you, but again, it's like this whole national narrative that everyone peeks in at him and says, that guy has all the tools. We're going to talk to Tim in 9 minutes, and he's going to say the same thing.
I get that. That's fine. He has I'd go with like Aiden Childs before I went with DJ Lagway, if I'm being honest.
That's
Childs physically does not have that dissimilar of a profile from DJ Lagway.
Okay.
He was, I think, also a 5-star coming out. He was a very, very high 4-star. He's top 7 or 8 recruit in the country, quarterback recruit in the country in his class. And I think we've seen better football from Aiden Childs. I think we've certainly seen.
I would agree. I would agree with the last part. Yes, I'd agree with the last part.
So if I'm LSU and I'm like, okay, guy has a ton of physical tools, and I've seen we don't actually know if there's better football in DJ Lagway. We don't. We assume.
We have seen enough. And this goes with your point from the offseason before when people were preseason rating the top quarterbacks coming into the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have now officially seen enough of DJ Lagway to form a narrative of what you have seen from him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the exact opposite of the narrative that was formed last year when we hadn't seen enough.
Yeah.
So you sit here and you go, okay, I at least know there's some version, and maybe it's inconsistent. Maybe we don't quite have a feel on it yet, but there is some good version of football that Aiden Childs has to offer. I am not 100% sure. I would guess there is with DJ Lagway if he finds the right system and the right coach and everything like that. But that, again, is a guess. We do not know that for a fact. We don't. We even know he's the one guy left. As much as I've taken victory laps on Arch Manning and Lenore Sellers and all those other guys that I was like, are we sure they're good? Mm-hmm. Are we sure they're good? And I was right on a lot of them. Missed a few, but was right on a lot of them. Austin Simmons, DJ Lagway's the one. Austin Simmons as well, but he wasn't as highly regarded. DJ Lagway's the one of those guys that we don't have not seen extended stretches of good football.
Right.
Lenore Sellers, I thought it was premature, but we've seen good football from Lenore Sellers. Arch Manning, last half of the season. Yes, he turned into a checkdown merchant, but he's executing what Texas is asking him to do at this point. We don't know that about DJ Lagway. We really don't. And so that name connected to LSU has always been wild to me because we've already seen LSU, not the most patient place on earth.
Yep.
Nor should they be with what they invest in that program and what they've seen be accomplished there by, frankly, mediocre head coaches in the past.
And also considering that a school with notably less money, resources, talent, everything is outperforming you over the past few years, just down the road in Tulane.
Absolutely. Or I was going to say just down the road where Lane Kiffin came from at Ole Miss.
Yes.
Right? You've had several programs that do not have, not that sounds like anybody we know around here, but that do not have the resources that you have that have been outperforming you, right? And so if I'm Lane Kiffin and I'm LSU, I don't that is a huge gamble. Maybe it pays off. Maybe you're right. Maybe the upside, he figures it out. He's a quarterback guru and it all happens, right? But my God, is that a huge risk?
Yeah. And see, that's where the argument comes in, right? Because if you are in your first year, it's almost more of the Lane Kiffin question, because I think Kiffin, in my personal opinion, I think Kiffin would almost rather go with Lagway than a guy that he knows, because he's eccentric, he's weird, and he wants to prove that, hey, I can take anybody and make them into whatever project, and I can turn them into a great quarterback because I've done this with other guys before. But you almost wonder if it's like you said, with all the LSU factors, I know what I've got in Trinidad. I know what I can do to make him successful. He's already ran an SEC schedule. He's already gotten to the college football playoff. I've already trusted him in big games and big opportunities. So maybe this is what I want to do next, to be able to get him to that next step. And maybe he believes that it could be Lagway, but I think if it were me, I'm going to go with the guy that I know, and I would go with Trinidad Chambliss. If he's interested in coming, maybe he's just going to run the Trinidad flag and just be able to stick in Oxford and just hang out there, whatever. Maybe that's the case.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how long he was at Ferris State. I've been trying to find it, and I can't exactly. So,
this is a TK question. He's always good for this.
I think he's out of eligibility. I think this was his last year, but I'm not sure. I also don't know when somebody's going to sue and get more eligibility and what happens there. So, I just really...
He'll just pull the Diego Pavia and just play forever.
Yeah, just be like, no, I'm going to play some more, guys.
I'm always a quarterback.
Always be collagen.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia is going to end up with, like, the most degrees in history. He's just going to be a PhD before this thing is done.
Right, yeah. Dr. Diego Pavia.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody thought.
Undergrad.
Listen, Vanderbilt is a good school.
It is.
Really good school.
Notably not a bad place to get a college degree from.
TK says he has one more year left. Okay.
See?
I thought he was a junior at Ferris State. I don't know. Listen, it doesn't matter.
Maybe got redshirted.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know if D2 counts the same way. I don't know what counts now. Maybe he's 34 years old, has a COVID year left. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If TK says he has 1 year left, I believe him.
But see, that's what makes a lot of this just so interesting with the transfer portal quarterbacks, is that you have, and this is every year, this is not just this year, you have more established products. Sam Levitt from a couple of years ago to Sam Levitt today, more people would want Sam Levitt, the quarterback that he is now, and what he has established himself to be. I think more people would be willing to take a flyer on an Aiden Childs. But then you still have this Lagway factor of the almost just uncanny ability to have untapped potential that I think intrigues so many coaches.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, too, just to tie this all in one big knot, is that what Braum is looking at if Louisville is truly interested in Dylan Raiola? This untapped potential of what they could have.
Hey, Shane, can you get the door real quick, bud? Just real quick.
There we go.
We
get a drop-off?
Yeah, we have a nice gentleman there just dropped us off some treats, which I appreciate.
What? And I'm not even DB.
I know.
This is a good move for me.
Yeah, this is quality for you. No, I do like, so Childs, he didn't play the whole year this year. He only played 9 games, but 63%, which is fine. 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Like he was pretty good this year. I know he got lit up by Nebraska. I think that had more to do with Nebraska playing their best defensive game of the year in terms of like their defensive front and how they pressured him than it did him being not, him struggling at all. Mm-hmm. I think Aiden Childs has shown better football than DJ Lagway.
I think we are quick to forget. And, of course, the Jonathan Smith and everything else that happened with that Oregon State year that got them to Michigan State, they were phenomenal. Yeah. And Childs was wanted by a lot of schools, not just Michigan State.
Yeah, I listen, that's a player that I've seen play good football. I don't know that I can say the same about DJ Lagway.
So is this a Ravi stamp of approval for Aiden Childs to Lincoln?
Listen, I would take it. With the mobility and what we've seen from him as a passer, like I know somebody I think Jose Bueno in the chat said they'd pass on him because of what he saw against Nebraska. Like I think Aiden Childs would be a nice fit in Dana Holgorsen offense.
Okay.
I also think TJ Latif's a nice fit as well.
I like it. Good answer.
We'll see what Tim VERGHESE says coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the season of savings at Edwards Buick Chevrolet. Lease the 2025 Buick Envista Preferred starting at $249 a month. Luxury, wrapped and ready for the holidays. More reasons to celebrate this season. Or lease the 2026 Chevrolet Trax LS starting at $259 a month. Compact style, ready to roll into the new year. Your season of savings starts at Edwards Buick Chevrolet.
I thought it was really special, to be honest with you. I actually texted our coaching staff beforehand some of the ticket sales and the numbers, and I just said, make sure you enjoy this, because at some point this is going to be the norm, and just to believe that what we're building right now will generate to what we saw tonight, and obviously that's our long-term goal in the future. But certainly appreciate Millard and their school district and their community showing up for former student athletes. I think it speaks volume when you continue to support your own, and honestly, it's why I came to Omaha, is because that's how the community is here, and I think you can build with a community that's willing to do that. So pretty special night, and we at least put together a pretty good second half.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Tim VERGHESE from Inside Nebraska TV. What's going on, man? How we doing?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Tim, we are good. We are good. Are you cold yet?
Yeah, certainly.
I was gonna say you were beanie season so far, so I look for you. But yeah, is this your Christmas getup? You just go full sweats and pajamas, or what?
Yeah, for the most part. This is pretty much like from here to like probably Jan 1st. Because Jan 2nd is when things get insane. But yeah, from here to Jan 1st, I'm gonna enjoy the calm before the portal craziness.
So speaking of January 2nd, so obviously it's the day the portal officially opens. Seems like it's, the door's cracked at least a little bit for the last couple weeks here. But what does that day look like for you, or what do you anticipate that day looking like for you? Because it sort of seems like it's going to be like NBA free agency style, where like 12:01 a.m. we've got signings happening right off the bat.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how many of these guys ultimately take visits before they make decisions. And so that's why I wonder if we're going to see this rush to decisions, or we're going to see at least, everyone kind of knows what's happening, but it's just going to be that first weekend they make that visit and then they make the commitment or whatever. So I'm actually curious to see how many early day of commitments. That said, come Jan 2nd, it wouldn't surprise me if if you see it from us and other national outlets of like, hey, don't be surprised if this guy ends up here, like where you can formally kind of report on stuff that's been occurring behind the scenes here in the weeks leading up to Jan 2nd. A lot of it is back channeling between agents, a lot of these guys, especially at the top end, at the quarterback position, at some of these key positions, their agents are already negotiating and talking with programs and getting stuff put together. So come Jan 2nd, they have a plan, or at the very least, a short list of schools they want to choose from. And at most, it's, we're already hearing some QBs already have like a decision or a destination pretty much set, like we pretty much know where like Brendan Sorsby's going, and there's a few others like that.
Tim, before we talk portal quarterbacks and such, I'm curious, and like you said, portal's not officially open. We're going to get some new names in the next coming weeks. But is there a maybe power position group outside of quarterbacks that are notable to you that you've seen a couple of names already enter that maybe just college football fans should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I'm obviously expecting Nebraska is going to be active in the running back and the defensive line market. And I think the running back market is already a little bigger than I expected. I am kind of to the point, and this is besides the portal question. It is, related, tangentially related. I am to the point where I think if you're a top end Power 4 team, or at least have the resources of a top end Power 4 team like Nebraska does, you kind of don't have an excuse to not have like quality running back and wide receiver play this day and age. Like, especially right now with what the portal is going to be and what you've seen. Like, I just think you don't need like dudes, obviously. You don't need like to replace Emmett Johnson entirely. You need to add enough to replicate, or like replicate his impact and at least try to get there. But yeah, like I kind of think at this point with what the portal looks like at the running back position, with I think with some of the relationships Nebraska has with some of those portal running backs, and I fully expect Nebraska to be pretty active there, and I think they're going to come away with a good haul. Like I really think Emmett Johnson's on-field performance this year really made a big impression to a lot of running backs across the country. And I think they're only going to be more excited once they really start to dive in on Jeep Wade's offensive line tape from Georgia Tech.
Speaking of offensive line and Jeep Wade, and I'll throw Lonnie Teasley in there as well. Am I being too simplistic to see those guys come to Nebraska, and then I see several guys from their former schools hop in the portal and think, yeah, Nebraska's probably got a pretty good shot at those guys?
Yeah, Nebraska definitely has a shot at some of those guys. I mean, there's some stuff to work through. I think there was one from Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, four-star freshman who entered the portal, who I'm not expecting to stick around at the Power 4 level, just because I think he's going to have to go down to JUCO, get some grades in order and things like that. So that's one I'm kind of striking off Nebraska's list. But yeah, I mean, you saw some portal entries from South Carolina. You saw kind of a big Polly on the interior of Georgia Tech's line enter the portal too, and a guy with some center experience, but also gives you some good guard depth. Same with brands from South Carolina. So yeah, like it's a good group in there already. And yeah, I mean, Lonnie Teasley's got relationships. Jeep Wade has relationships, and I would say this too. Like I would keep an eye on guys, not necessarily that are from the schools they were at, but guys they maybe lost out on the first time around, or guys that South Carolina or Georgia Tech or one of the two were involved with the first time around, and maybe they didn't land them, but those guys are back in the portal.
Tim, are there any players in that same narrative that maybe have Jeep Wade or, the new staffers that are coming in as well, lost in their recruitment battles, whether it was at Georgia Tech or wherever they're coming from, that they now have maybe a second opportunity to sway them to Nebraska because it's a bigger brand, it's a different location than where they were before?
Oh, potentially. Okay, that's something we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think honestly, more so than the portal, which we might see some of that. I think in the 27 class, this gives Lonnie Teasley in particular, I think, some new energy because he was really putting in work on the recruiting trail. And then the results just weren't there for South Carolina these last 2 years. And it's not necessarily he's dealt with some injuries. But of course, I mean, they had a lot of talent. They didn't play up to that talent. But he done a really good job on the recruiting trail. But it really felt like this year and going into this year, South Carolina lost some of that momentum. So he gets an opportunity, I think, paired up with Jeep Wade, to kind of circle back on some guys that he'd hope to have a chance on in 27. And luckily for him, it's Nebraska's already involved in some of those guys. Talking like Jordan Agbanoma, the 4-star interior lineman from Loganville Grayson, who's a monster. Albert Simeon, the number 1 interior offensive lineman, who he barely got a shot at, but Nebraska was very much in the mix there, so they're going to get another shot at him. And again, like even guys like Kennedy Brown and Mark Matthews, who Nebraska's still trying for, like there's going to have to be a relationship built there. But I mean, neither one of those coaches were able to get those guys on campus or really able to get much momentum going at Georgia Tech or South Carolina with them. Nebraska has a presence already in those 2 recruitments.
Speaking of the 27 class, obviously Nebraska had a decommitment from that class in the wide receiver group yesterday. How big of a shock was the Watkins decommitment there? And I mean, he kind of felt like a weird commitment in the first place, right?
Yeah, not surprised at all. I mean, I figured it was just going to be a matter of time before he just backed off because there's other schools in pursuit. He never visited Nebraska. Like, this is not I'm cutting ties with Nebraska. This is okay, I rushed into this decision. I need to take a step back and reassess some options. He's got some options closer to home. I'm curious if he makes it up to Nebraska. Nebraska has a pretty talented wide receiver board, but they did like him. There was a reason why, he felt like there was enough interest for him to make that commitment early on. I've seen some stuff out there that Nebraska didn't accept his commitment. They eventually did. They were shocked by it too. They were caught off guard when he announced, but a couple of days later, they, after sitting down with him, it was just one of those guys where he's talented enough where they were able to accept his commitment, but it was always an expectation of you have to visit before we really, really recognize this. And on top of that, like, we know you have other options. Like, feels like you kind of rushed into this. Yeah, so I'm curious how Nebraska approaches it this offseason because they have other options, and this is like one of those big body Nayland Scott type receivers that they really want to keep adding to the room, but they have other options that kind of look like him, that feel like him. And like I said, again, receiver position at this point, yeah, you want to be involved with some of these top end guys, and Nebraska absolutely is, but like there's plenty of talent in at those positions at this point.
Tim, how does Nebraska's staff balance their impact positions that they need or guys that they're targeting, like we talked about, through this year's transfer portal class that could affect or change maybe the dynamic of the 27 recruitment class? Is that a balancing act that they have to go through, or do they just focus on what they need for the next season? How does that look, and how does the coaching staff kind of attack that without upsetting the apple cart that is the 27 class?
I think for me, like, or at least my read on it is, I think right now you can't even think about 27 because you have to think about getting this team right for 26. Like, you have a pretty good 27 class, and I think at individual, like certain positions, there's going to be this kind of balance. But like, really at this point, the only position I really see it like you having to play something of a balance is with Trey, and just because that's a 27 quarterback that's coming in that aims to compete for the job early on, but he knows what the deal is. And I mean, I've had plenty of conversations with Trey and his family. Like, they don't really plan on they plan on giving whatever program they're at, and ideally it's Nebraska, as long as Matt Rhule and Dana Holgorsen and the staff are here. When they come to Nebraska, the plan is for them to stick around for 2 to 3 years at the very, like, they want to give the program time to develop, for him to get into the system, really dive in. And again, if it has to be something where he's competing for the job early on or sitting for the bench, he's open to it. He's not trying to rush himself on the field. There's nothing like that. But it is something that I think Nebraska is going to have to be a little wary of, because I think part of it is you can't bring a young quarterback with multiple years of eligibility into a room that has multiple other young quarterbacks with multiple years of eligibility, unless you really think that highly of that guy. So I think that's really the only position, because at this point, I mean, Nebraska doesn't have a defensive line coach or defensive line commits. You can't really think about, how is this commitment going to affect like this transfer portal D-line commitment going to affect my chances at this 27 D-lineman? You can't think that way. That Nebraska can't afford to think that way. I think the same thing goes at linebacker. Same thing goes at running back, even with the class they brought in here in 26 and the class they're putting together in 27. You need talent in the room, and I think everyone understands. Amir Brown understands he's going to join a competitive room. The guys Nebraska's recruiting at 27 know they're going to be joining a competitive running back room. So I wouldn't anticipate a whole lot there. I will say, though, in the 26 class, Nebraska's still after Dylan Berriman, the 4-star defensive lineman out of Monroe Parish down in Louisiana. Roosevelt Parish down in Louisiana, and that's a guy where I think if Nebraska has an idea of what his decision is going to be, or Nebraska lands that commitment pretty early on in the dead period, that would impact, I think, how many defensive linemen they add, because Behrman's the kind of like instant impact freshman D lineman that at the very least can play a rotational role year one, where Nebraska can, maybe add 2 D linemen instead of going for 3 and 1 depth piece that they aren't 100% sure on the value on, when you can just get the high school guy with 5 years of eligibility and, kind of a pretty high floor and a high mortar coming in.
Tim, speaking of value, have you kind of allowed yourself, I'm not asking for intel or anything here, but just in your kind of talent eval, have you started to figure out quarterback wise where you think good value might be for Nebraska?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I think just based on how these names, more names continue to enter, we're still waiting on a few. Where I'm at on the market, I think this year, Oregon, Miami, Indiana, and Tech, and we kind of know where Tech's headed. But those 4 teams are going to dictate the market. How those 4, I mean, there's like the dominoes from who they choose as their next quarterback is going to have an impact, trickle down kind of down the line. But that said, right behind, I think those 4 schools is like Nebraska in the QB market. Now, where is value? I think that's something I'm still figuring out, because I think the market is already a little crazier than even I anticipated. I kind of was looking at the portal as an opportunity for Nebraska to go in and land a talented quarterback that they may not have to pay close to as much as Dylan Raiola. You could go into the portal and land a guy for 2.5 to 3 for a year. Where the market is right now, it might end up having to be something where Nebraska has to go in the portal and find someone that will cost them as much as they had allocated for Dylan in 2026. So that's just where the QB market is right now. It's pretty nuts. And I mean, just based on the numbers I've heard this week, we'll see if things settle down here, because I can still see the market correcting itself a little bit before Jan 2nd, just because there are so many teams in the QB market. There are so many teams that even can afford to pay as much as some of these top end quarterbacks are talking about. So, I could see the market correcting itself a little bit, but where is value? I think it's in the guys that don't have the on-field experience necessarily, but have played, like at a very, very, very good level when they've been on the field in a reserve situation, and they've gotten reps in practice against an elite defense. Guys like Kenny Minchie at Notre Dame. I think you're going to see Lincoln Kineholz at Ohio State probably enter the portal. Like, those, I think, are going to end up being good value, because I'm not sure how much teams are going to be willing to spend on guys with limited reps when there is a lot of tools and a lot to be confident on. And like, okay, hey, Kenny Minchie, 3 years, 2.5 years at Notre Dame, practicing against Notre Dame's defense. How much, how would you compare that tape to Peyton Joseph at Old Dominion, competing against, competition he's playing at Old Dominion? Which one do you think is better prepared or better suited for the next level? Game practice reps aren't game reps necessarily, but when you're practicing against the top end of the sport, that stuff matters. And I think that's honestly where the value is going to be, because a lot of these teams can't rely on game tape or production and can't just throw money at the guy that threw for the most yards in college football this year. Like, they have to go and like do their due diligence here. And I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to do that in the speed dating kind of portal era.
Do you think Nebraska's sort of in a weirdly advantageous position for those types of guys because of the fact that TJ Lateef is already in that room, and you're like, hey, we know we have some level of comfort with TJ Lateef if he ends up being the starter or whatever, so they can sort of take a chance on a guy that doesn't really have much film at this level?
I think, again, I will say I don't know 100% if Nebraska is ultimately going to go the route of, because they could still absolutely choose, because they know the sense of urgency for 26 and the schedule, that, it really may make sense to really invest in that position and go get a game changer. But I don't think Nebraska necessarily needs that. They need someone that can play within Dana Holgerson's offense. And you can find that guy at, much cheaper than what you paid or were expecting to pay Dylan Raiola here in 2026. So, but that's a conversation that I think is still ongoing within the programs, trying to figure out kind of what makes sense. And again, how some of these dominoes elsewhere impact Nebraska. Like, again, like what Miami does at quarterback is going to have such a big impact elsewhere, because there are guys in the portal that have not entered the portal yet that if they do, they would be they would be high on Miami's board. But Miami's already doing their due diligence on guys in the portal and already has an idea of who they would want next year. And so they're picking between this and whoever doesn't get picked there, whoever doesn't get picked at Oregon, whoever doesn't get picked at Indiana, someone else is going to end up with a pretty talented quarterback for potentially good value, because that guy was expecting this kind of payday from this school. And now he's left in the dark and is like, okay, well, I'm open. I'm available to, whoever wants me. And there'll be a program out there that can get that guy on good value.
So Tim, let me ask you this, because there's, I look at the list and you've made it clear that there's going to be guys that are not currently announced that will end up in the portal. So we're working off of an incomplete list right now, right? But how many guys do you look at that aren't, like you mentioned, Sorsby appears to be off the market already. But how many guys actually are there going to be that you look at as, hey, that's a guy that Nebraska should pay 3.5 or whatever the number is $1 million to, as opposed to, like, if that's the asking price for guys that are like a little bit further down the line, then like, where do you draw that line between this is where, like, these are the guys that are actually worth that to Nebraska for next year?
I think the line genuinely is at like Kenny Minchie for me.
Okay. Like, yeah, you'd pay Kenny Minchie like premium starter money.
No, I mean, as in like
right above him.
Above him.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think at least that's when, like, the last time I looked at, I mean, I'm not sure what rankings are looking at or like the assessment, but like, I think at the top end, like Hoover, Mestamaker, I think Raiola, Levitt, well, not Raiola yet, Levitt, Sorsby,
I think Lagway.
Yeah.
And
wow, for TV, Lagway showing up.
Yeah, Philo. I think those guys are in the, like,
where do you put Childs?
Childs, I'm curious on. Childs is one where, what do teams evaluate? How do teams evaluate this year at Michigan State? There's a lot of highs, some lows on tape. Or there's a lot of, like, there's highs and lows on tape. There's not a lot of consistency on tape. So where do teams view him? He's one I'm curious for Nebraska, because it definitely feels like Nebraska is at least monitoring that situation. But and he is a little further along than like Jeff Sims was as a passer. But like, I wonder if they've learned their lesson from Jeff Sims and are looking for more of a proven commodity that is a little more put together as a thrower of the football than Childs is at this point, and even the lessons they learned from Sims.
Do you think Childs could end up being like what you had said for Nebraska, that these other quarterbacks move in the market and then Childs becomes one of the better available? So maybe his payday actually ends up a little bit higher than what the initial evaluation is, just because of kind of where everything else transpires, whether it's Nebraska or elsewhere.
I think so. He's one of those guys I think is like right above the Kenny Min. Like, I think the in my head I have Minchie, and then like right above him is Childs, and that's only because we've seen the highs on tape, and there is the legit starting experience across years. So like, I think all of that together points to that guy's going to end up getting a bigger payday than probably most people anticipate, even people around like Michigan State.
So on that same note, and I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you clearly. So when it comes from Nebraska's side, is it more of just Nebraska wants to play this out, see how the field kind of evens out, and then go after their quarterback? Or are they specifically targeting transfer quarterbacks right now and hoping that they will beat out maybe other schools for services? Is it waiting for the field to open up, or are they already trying to see if they can land a quarterback before those dominoes start to fall?
I mean, I think as far as I know, it's been more of a like waiting game of just like evaluating the positions as it is. That said, there's already every program at this point that's in the QB market is back channeling with agents. So there is some of that getting work together, at least trying to get visits lined up and trying to get just like, hey, are you interested? Presenting yourself and doing your part so you're ahead of the game come Jan 2nd. But I put it on the board earlier this week, and I still kind of believe it. It's not necessarily pointing to an individual guy. I just don't think Nebraska's transfer quarterback edition is in the portal currently.
Okay. Tim, is there and we'll get off of quarterbacks here in a second, but is there a guy, you mentioned Colton Joseph from Old Dominion. Is there a guy like that? I think everybody's sort of looking like, oh, who is there going to be another Trinidad Chambliss type? And you don't have to go like D2 deep dive on me here, but is there a guy, whether like an FCS program or a group of 5 school, that you're looking at and you're like, yeah, I think this guy actually has a shot to be a really good power conference quarterback?
I'm interested in Craig at Harvard. Just what that looks like at the next level. I don't know if he's a fit for Nebraska necessarily, but I'm really curious to see where he ends up. Joseph's the one though. Like from the early talk, it sounds like that's a guy that ends up getting last year's kind of Mateer treatment of this dynamic dual threat quarterback that's looking to make the jump up, and a bunch of teams are just really enamored with him, and with Mateer just ended up going to Oklahoma. But yeah, I think the market for Joes is going to be really interesting. Because that's the dual threat, the young dual threat. I think some of these teams are going to take a chance on, but I'm waiting to see. I'm honestly, I want to see if there's I haven't done a whole D2 deep dive myself, so I think that's what I was hoping to do here before the portal opens and just see kind of what is out there. I think if you're looking at another, again, it's more of an established name. The guy's playing in the playoffs but I'm really curious what Alonzo Barnett does, and how that potentially impacts Dylan. Because I believe he has eligibility left.
I'm not mistaken. Not 100% sure. I'm checking, see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, I was checking that as well.
I was having this trouble with Trinidad Chambliss earlier as well.
Redshirt junior, so he's got 1 year.
Yeah.
So he has 1 year. So I'm curious if he just follows Bob to UCLA, and if he does do that, what happens with Nico?
Yeah, sure.
So because Nico's one that I'm waiting on to see what happens there. I think there's another big frame quarterback on the East Coast I'm keeping an eye on to see what happens with him, because I do anticipate he enters the portal. Byron Brown, is he going to follow Alex Golesh straight up to
Auburn,
or is he going to do something else? At this point, I think he's just going to. I think he's just going to follow to Auburn, but really curious to see what he ends up doing. So there's dominoes still to fall, and so we'll see. But the good news is we have an idea. I think Texas Tech is generally out of the market at this point because they have an idea who that guy's going to be. Indiana is pretty much having their pick of the litter, so they'll be out of the market very early. Oregon, similar situation, and honestly, I don't know how much battling Nebraska is going to end up doing with Oregon for a transfer QB, and then Miami's the one that I'm waiting on, because I think Miami's the one that is going to most impact Nebraska's kind of transfer QB search.
Is there any other players in the portal that non-quarterbacks that you're just excited about, that you're excited to see where they land, that you just think are really good players?
Let me pull up my portal list.
Is it an Excel sheet? You got a Word doc? How do you do this?
Right now it's just a Word doc, but I'm going to convert it to an Excel sheet here soon. I need to build it, really build it out.
Color code that thing? Is it green, red? What does it look like?
Not yet. Again, color coding happening. That's where right now I'm just kind of talking through these tiers. I need to really build this out and start highlighting and figuring out how I view these guys. So, no, a couple guys, I think the DB market's really fascinating. Jabril Rawls at Florida State was a bit of a surprising one for me. And the talk on Florida State's end is with what that program is going to be this year, it doesn't really make a whole lot of, they don't expect it to be very good. So it's it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to, pay up for a freshman cornerback when you don't really know how much longer he's going to be around. So that's a guy, or a young cornerback, that you don't know how much longer he's going to be around. So Rawls is one that I've got an eye on here in the portal. Devin Tompkins at USC is another one I'm really excited about. Young guys I'm excited about. Chris Barnes is a fun one. I put him on X earlier this week. Just a little slot receiver who initially signed with Washington State, but then ultimately followed Jake Dickert to Wake Forest. Was a really good returner for them. Had a good year. Nebraska just made Lonnie Teasley official, by the way, so that is good news.
Yeah, it's always nice to officially announce your hires. That would be nice to get some news on them.
Well, especially when you got offensive linemen being like, "Oh yeah, we got Lonnie out here," and it's I don't know if you're supposed to say that, bud.
But one more name for me. I was a huge fan of Tyler Thompson coming out of high school. Edge rusher out of North Carolina, was a Michigan target at one point. Just kind of the edge type that that program at the time was really having success with. And was really cool to see him have the year he had at North Carolina. I'm glad he's getting out of that situation. I'm glad he's kind of going on to greener pastures, and it sounds like he's got some good options out there. So I'm really excited to see what he does in a better system around better players.
Tim, are we getting any more assistant coach news this weekend?
Potentially. I mean, we will see. I'm tracking a few things. I mean, again, like I'm at the point where I'm dwindling confidence in Elijah Robinson, but I don't think it's ever over. You know what I mean? Like I still think like Rhule has that relationship, and I'm really curious to just where Elijah's head's at. I told the story on our previous show, but when I was covering A&M, I just kept bumping into him. Like every time I was out on the road, it was just like, Elijah's here. Oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, and it was like, there was a day I was on the 7-on-7 circuit I was like making the rounds at high schools. And we just ended up hitting like 4 high schools together where like, I was just like making my rounds and like, they weren't close to each other. We were up and down, like just going up and down 45. And like, you know, it's just like, he beat me one place where it was a 20-minute drive and I have no idea how he beat me there. Like he was just in the office talking to the coaching staff and I walked in and he's like, hey, what took you so long? But like, he's a grinder, man. And like, I'm really curious where his head's at because I think in his heart of hearts, he's at his best when he just gets to dive in, evaluate and develop defensive linemen. And I think Nebraska's given him that opportunity. He's had that opportunity elsewhere, but I wonder if he wants an opportunity to really dive in and learn from, I think, some of the issues Syracuse defense had this year. It's really important, I think, for guys, position coaches in particular, or coaches in general, to like figure out their role. For Elijah Robinson, I think it was really important for him to get that experience as a DC. He realized it may not be his best fit and now figure out how to transition his career moving forward, whether that's, you know, becoming just a career D-line guy or, you know, kind of adjusting here and figuring out, okay, can I go learn somewhere so I can become a better defensive coordinator down the line?
Tim, is there anything that Rhule would say today that maybe you're peeking in for or you're interested to hear from, or maybe a peek behind the curtain in terms of what future plans could be like, even with everything you just said about portal quarterbacks and options for Nebraska? Is there anything that you're going to keep an ear open for from what the head coach has to say today?
Yeah, I'm just curious on his thoughts on, I think the rest of the offense where, you know, because I'm sure he's going to be asked on offensive retention, where he feels on that. Like, I'm curious to see where his thoughts are, because that is just an ongoing process. Like, that is something where, I mean, even with the Dylan stuff, like, it felt like things were obviously trending one direction, but you wouldn't really know for sure until, you know, there was an announcement made. And I think there's a lot of that right now in the building where there's some guys that, you know, have some stuff they're entertaining outside, but you know, they're seriously considering coming back. And there's just kind of like, you can't read into too much in the sense that you can't be like, okay, well, this guy's for sure gone and this guy's for sure coming back. I think there's too much up in the air right now, but I'm really curious to see what Rhule's confidence is in that offense and the pieces they'll have in 2026.
Tim, I'll let you go on this one. Have you thought anything interesting, or have you thought that anything that's been interesting about the I guess the details of the Dylan and Nebraska split? I mean, you know, as far as I know, I could be wrong. I don't know if I've missed it, but you haven't seen like the post from Dylan where it's like, thank you for my time in Nebraska. I want to thank all my coaches, whatever. It seems like that's, especially as a legacy player, sort of a weird omission. And then you get Coach Rhule earlier this week saying like, hey, if he feels like he needs a fresh start, we wish him the best. With that being said, a lot of good players want to come to Nebraska.
Yeah, and then you had Dannon in there too. Like it's layered.
Like, yeah, there. Like, has anything really stuck out to you in terms of how this has played out publicly?
Yeah, I think of a lot of what you said yesterday and kind of reading between the lines here is pretty accurate, just in sense of like where we're like at on this situation. It's more of like, again, it just kind of felt this way for a while. Like this felt like more of like a mutual thing than like one side being like, all right, we're done. We're taking our ball and we're going home. You know, like there's a lot at stake here. There's a lot here. You know, you look at it didn't come down to money necessarily, but money is always part of it. It didn't come down to, you know, comfort necessarily. It didn't come down to Dylan Raiola. It didn't come down to Dayton decommitting. It didn't come down to any one thing, but like we combine everything all together and just like, you know, I think for both sides, it just made sense. And like, again, there's plenty, I mean, within the fan base, within the program, on the outside that believe for both sides, this is the best move. And I think for Nebraska, this gives them an offense, I think, opportunity, I think, for Dana Holgorsen to really kind of dive in and build the offense in his vision and figure out how he wants to continue building that up. I think adjusting your offense to the personnel you have. And I thought it was really interesting. I mean, Steve Marek asked Dana about it, about what he's seen from Jeep's offense and specifically offensive line and what they could use. And Dana didn't really open up too much on that, just because it sounded like he just hasn't watched a whole lot of Georgia Tech yet. So, and that's something he noted he's going to do in January. When that does happen, I'm really curious if that changes Nebraska's portal strategy, because I think it's going to end up happening before that. But whenever Dana gets on the Georgia Tech O-line tape, I think he's going to be really excited about building a QB run game to pair with what he's already kind of doing in the passing game. Because what Georgia Tech did this year up front to put Haynes King in ideal situations to open up that run game and to really get that offense going is really fun, really creative, as far in the forefront of Power 4 football as we've seen in terms of building out QB run games. So I think there's a lot of excitement within that offensive staff in terms of getting this opportunity to build out a QB run game.
That's our guy, Tim VERGHESE, Inside Nebraska. Tim, great stuff as always. Enjoy your holiday, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Likewise, guys. Happy holidays.
Appreciate you, Tim.
Tim VERGHESE from Inside Nebraska. Good stuff there.
He's the man.
Oh, Tim's the best. We love Tim. I sit here and I kind of wonder, the Dayton thing is really interesting to me.
In what way?
I think a lot of us assume that the Dayton decommitment was a sign of the Raiolas wanting to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it may have been the other way around.
You inferred this yesterday.
Yeah, which was kind of one of the things I intimated yesterday, where I think, but the Dayton part specifically, where I go, I don't think Dayton decommitted because the writing was on the wall that Dylan was about to leave. I think maybe the circumstances had changed and Nebraska's like, hey, he's probably not a good fit for us anymore in terms of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to put together, what we're willing to, I don't know, what we're willing to kind of be attached in terms of
concede.
Yeah, just the circumstances under which they want to continue to operate their program. So, if that was, because let's be honest, you look at the other offers that Dayton had, Nebraska was the outlier.
Yes.
Right.
And
still is
Yeah.
at this point, as Dayton hasn't signed. And so you look at that and you go, okay, that seems like it was a favor or at least a courtesy to the family. And maybe it was more about Nebraska saying hey, that's not really a courtesy we feel like we can extend anymore. We don't feel like that would be good for him. We don't feel like that would be good for us.
Yep.
And maybe it was more of a symptom of the situation rather than a cause of, because I think people look at it as sort of a cause, one of the causing factors of Dylan leaving. And I think it's more of a symptom of the situation in which Nebraska and Dylan both felt it was best to move on.
Yeah.
That's why the Dayton thing is interesting to me. I don't think a lot of us are viewing it.
Can I give you a layered example?
Sure.
Notably, as a Carolina Panther fan, I've had a little more Matt Rhule experience in my time.
Sure.
When Cam Newton was brought back to Carolina, Rhule notably had moved on from Newton. Cam had already left the organization, all that other stuff, but he was brought back in a much different capacity than what he was. When you bring back a player like Cam Newton to a franchise that is like Carolina, he was probably the most heralded player in that franchise's history.
Yeah, I don't even think that's up for debate.
Regardless of what his ability was going to be or what his role was going to be, he was going to be the talk of whatever you did that week. And he was. He came back, he scored 2 touchdowns, whatever. Then the conversation turned into, is Cam the starter? Is Cam back? How long will he be here? How long should his contract be? And every single press conference moving forward for Rhule, and notably under the NFL, you have to do a lot of media availability. You're asked to do all of it, and you are required to do it per the NFL, per your franchise, and all those other agreements. He was asked all the time, what does Cam Newton being back in the building mean for you? What does he bring? And you do have to say good things, but it's not an unkept secret. They had a bit of a tenuous relationship at times.
Yeah. Well, it's awkward, right?
It is. Now, that type of conversation happened, a lot of times, right? Especially with Dylan's time at Nebraska. Rhule wasn't ever asked about it specifically during the recruitment year leading up and when Dylan made his choice to flip and all that sort of stuff. That was outside of really a lot of Rhule's control. But as we've said many times, and as you said yesterday, there's always these breadcrumbs of conversations and comments that Rhule has like scattered about and said about different things about the program or different things that have come about too. And I brought this up to you yesterday as well, is how much of a distraction was some of the everything that came with Dylan Raiola and everything that the Raiolas had at Nebraska. Now, I don't know anything for certain. I'm not in the locker room. I wasn't a part of the program. I wasn't inside of the walls by any means. So maybe this is all conjecture. Maybe this is all incorrect. But when you have such a high-profile player that is the dominant part of every conversation, and then the minute that Dylan kind of gets taken out of that, and you brought it up yesterday, what's one of the first things that we hear from Matt Rhule right after the UCLA game? TJ Lateef is about the team.
Never makes anything about himself. It's never about TJ Lateef.
Was that comment about TJ?
There, I think, is an argument to be made, a compare and contrast with being made. I think that's a fair, this is a weird example. So I was in the group chat with DB and Matt and Jacob a couple days ago, and I made a comment about, hey, if so-and-so pulls this coaching job off, it might be their best coaching job ever. And it was about Coach Mack. And Matt said, people have said that every year about Coach Mack for the last 10 years. And I said, well, I've said that exactly once, and it was about 10 or 12 years ago. And he's like, yeah, that's why I said people. But within the context, if I say something and then he says, people always say in response to my thing, it's reasonable to assume I'm included in people.
Yeah.
Right? So when you have the context of you have a starting quarterback, backup quarterback comes to play, first press conference after, I think it was the first press conference, after that backup quarterback plays, then you say TJ never makes anything about himself. Contextually, it's reasonable to assume that comment is not just about TJ, it's also about the situation TJ was coming out of, like the situation with Dylan before that. So I don't think it's unreasonable to make that assumption that comment was not just about TJ. I also think it's reasonable to sit here and say, I think there's a level of distraction if you think your starting quarterback, your franchise legacy, whatever guy is maybe not happy about how things are going. We all assumed that the distractions were Penn State and that whole situation for Matt Rhule, but what if DB's right? He's brought up several times, if you're Dylan Raiola watching that UCLA game and you're watching your backup / replacement play really well against UCLA, like how does that make you feel as a relatively young guy who's sort of maturing still and going through these things? And if that's true, like, do you were other people aware that he felt a certain kind of way? If he did, that very easily could be an awkward situation for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's why they lost to Penn State, because they got their head kicked in. The defense missed a million assignments. There's a lot of things that happened against Penn State and against Iowa. But I think the possibility, considering what the circumstances were, is very much on the table that there were distractions from the quarterback room as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I brought up the Cam Newton example of it all, because listen, as much as you want to make what a polarizing figure or what type of personality Dylan is, Cam Newton is 1,000 times more than that.
Sure.
And he's also a guy who rallies people around him, and people either fall in love with him or are very anti him. Big locker room guy. Everyone who's ever talked about Cam Newton in the locker room, they adore him, they love him. But you have to treat him a certain way, right? Because of the way that he will go out and make public comments. Dylan never made any public commentary like that. And notably as well, I want to give Dylan a little bit of credit here. When Matt Rhule was going through all the Penn State commentary and whatnot about if he was going to be, Dylan flat out came out and straight up said he's going to be the coach of Nebraska. Now, that was a long time ago, different situation and injury and losses and everything else. But he did come out and support the coach and support the university in that moment as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
and publicly, his entire time here has been very supportive of the university.
Right.
I want to make that clear.
But again, there's always the, okay, what do we have to deal with and how do we have to say it and how do we have to handle these situations that you don't deal with every player and you don't necessarily deal with every quarterback. But when you have a star and you have a 5-star and you have a legacy and you have all these other factors that kind of layer into it, it does become more and more of a distraction.
Well, and I think it is very interesting to note that I might be mistaken here. I don't think I am. I don't think we've heard anything at all from Dylan since the injury.
No.
Like Giannis, I understand why he wouldn't be in press conferences, but like not on his social media, basically nothing. I think there was a brief Instagram story that was instantly deleted.
Yeah, it was in God's plan or something like that. That was taken down like under 30 minutes after it went up.
So, but that I think is the only public, even close to public comments that he's made since the injury. And to your point about Cam Newton, everything is fine as long as status quo was maintained.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
As soon as the injury happened and status quo was no longer maintained, we really haven't heard anything positive, negative, or otherwise from Dylan Raiola. So I do think there is something to the, hey, you have to, like certain, we talked about Diego Pavia, right? We talked about Shadur Sanders. Not that any of those personalities are similar, but I do think as a quarterback, you've got, like, especially if you're used to being the guy and that dynamic changes, that's hard to deal with for any person. And you certainly not attributing any nefarious intent, but that doesn't mean that there's unintentional consequences and collateral damage are very, very common in these types of things, and so
I think collateral damage is a good way to phrase it. I think that's a very good way to put that.
Yeah. Hot Danger says, God plans always seem to align with people's selfish choices. Listen, I do think it's funny sometimes when people, and I grew up, very religious, and a lot of my family still is too, but I do think it's always funny when people are like, oh, it's just God's plan. And it's like, are you
selfish?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, you feel like, good for you. Like, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately hope you're right, but I don't know, man. It seems like you're kind of just doing what you want out here, which is like, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, but I just
say my plan.
Yeah. I just want you to own it. Like, hey, this is what I want. I hope God's cool with it.
Yep.
Like, that seems like more accurate, like, I don't know. Did Lane Kiffin really not know he was going to LSU until he prayed on it the night after
Thank God he prayed on it.
The old miss. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really not making fun of religious people at all. Like,
God came down from the heavens and said, Lane, $90 million sounds really good.
I bet he actually knows what his contract is. If I'm going to, I don't even know what the contract says. Okay, Lane, you're not Scott Frost. I think you know what your contract says. I
just go to TurboTax. Have him look over that thing. It's not hard. Like,
he's like, oh my God, 1.7 million.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I legit just don't think he knows what was in the contract.
The minute I saw that story come out, I was like, why are you doing this? There's no reason for this.
What Better Call Saul lawyer did he find to take that case?
Indies are tough.
You'll look at my client's residence, and it's in Wood River. Now, Wood River. All right, Saul. Relax.
The tax liability in Wood River, Nebraska is overly punitive. Anyway.
Wow.
Let's take a quick break here. We've got some college football previewing to do coming up. We've got we've got a lot of things to talk about. I'm very curious about this Alabama-Oklahoma game.
There's a lot of good sports this weekend.
I feel like DB brought this up with Sam on Monday. Some of the comments from Kyle Whittingham feel a little bit, I'm going to Michigan-y.
Yeah.
Which, I'm going to be honest, I'd be mad because that's a great hire. Like, that's like if Kyle Whittingham feels like a Michigan football coach.
Listen,
like, stylistically.
For a guy who doesn't want his pound of flesh, DB wants his pound of flesh from that.
Oh,
Whittingham take.
He wants his listen, that's credit, not flesh.
Yeah.
That's different. Headley wanted to know, he's from Des Moines. He wanted to know if you wore that for him.
Oh, no, it's because I'm going to work out after. So
I got to get that workout in.
Yeah, just got to get pumping. But no, Headley, just big DSM guy.
Just for you, Headley.
Huge DSM
We
guy.
got you.
For you, Headley.
We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the season of New Tradition sales event at our brand new Edwards Kia Council Bluffs location. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at just $249 a month. Brand new showroom, big holiday savings. Or lease the 2025 Kia Telluride S starting at $329 a month. Or finance at 0.9% for 60 months. Plus, every new purchase includes a free electric scooter. Don't wait. Celebrate the season at our brand new Edwards Kia location in Council Bluffs.
Fun Miller night. Liz got us off to a great start. Thought the first half we were pretty good at both ends. Second half was more spotty. I felt like we let down defensively. We had too many turnovers. I think at half the turnovers were 13-1, and we had 9 second half turnovers. So we got to clean that up. I told them we can't play to the score, and I felt like we did that a little bit in the second half. But it was nice to see everybody. These two were really good offensively, and made some plays on the other end too. So it's a process, but I think you see how talented our freshman group is, and happy for them. Hopefully they don't, because of the way they shot it, hopefully they're not thinking about leaving to come here and play in this gym. Jamie's going to do a good job here. I just think they're in a tough spot in terms of what the roster was left with, but they'll battle.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That is Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and want to remind you, it's a great time of year to go see our friends over at Lawrence Gardens. Nature never has an off season, and neither does Lawrence Gardens. This winter, enjoy the warmth and wonder of the Marjorie K. Doherty Conservatory. Meet the larger-than-life trolls in their Trolls exhibit, and they're Save the Humans by Thomas Dombo during the day, or watch the garden sparkle during the bright nights after dark. It's festive fun for everyone. Get your tickets or plan your visit at lawrencegardens.org. We've been out there previously. It is a ton of fun out there. Make sure you go check it out, the Bright Nights exhibit, especially if you're into the this festive time of year. It's a great time to go visit Lawrence and Gardens.
Oh, yeah. I need to make a trip out.
It's a good little date night.
It is.
Yeah, I went with Natasha last year. I think we're going to go out again.
I thought you went with DB last year.
Well, we did film with DB last year, but took the wife on an actual date.
Right, yeah.
And
good place to go down because you can hit the gardens, and then if you're like me and not familiar with all of Omaha has to offer, you can go down and be able to check out some of the other good stuff.
I feel like I need to give you a tour. I need to be like your tour guide to Omaha.
Yeah,
just show you all the cool places to hang out.
Do we pitch a double date? Do that.
Let's do it.
You
hang out.
You just guide us around, take us to some of the key spots that because every time I tell you, hey, Katie and I did this, we really enjoyed it. You're like, that place sucks. Not every time.
Not always.
It's like, oh, that's overrated. Okay, sorry. No, we liked it.
One time, the last time you texted me and you go, hey, is this place overrated? I was like,
that was funny because
I was proud of you for identifying it on your own.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I was like, yeah, that place sucks. Like, come on, man.
Because and we went back there again.
Did you?
Yeah, well, because it's like, it's her party. It's not mine.
Okay.
So
okay,
it's their company thing. So
gotcha.
we were all there for it. And I was back down there, and I think I texted you as we were leaving there, and I was like, I don't know.
No, I'm not about this.
Yeah.
You're like, I've tried it a couple times. I'm out.
Because the thing is the first time I went, I was like, oh, wow, this is great. But, of course, I was 6 months out from the sticks.
It's also a very cool atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a good building for a restaurant.
100%.
Yeah.
Bit drafty, though. It was cold.
Sure, yes.
Very
yeah.
cold.
But it looks great.
Yeah.
It's a great looking building. It's very, the vibes are immaculate.
People are going to try to decipher what
100%. I'm not going to say it because I've been crushing them. And I, but yes, I just want you to take advantage of my expertise on the city.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my wife is a chef. We have pretty good idea of the culinary scene here, so we can help you out.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help.
I think that'd be good. I think we should try this sometime.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, and then one day I'll take you out to Carhenge.
Let's do it.
Great Western Nebraska road trip.
I've been to so I know this isn't Western Nebraska, it's Central Nebraska, but I've done the Kearney Arch thing.
Yeah.
I've been inside, I did the whole thing.
It's actually it's a one-time thing. You go through it and you're like, that was cool. Not doing it again.
Yeah, I'm good now, but it was cool. I'm glad I did it.
I've always found so when I was doing sports in Kearney, and I know little Dave and chat will know what I'm talking about. When I was doing sports in Kearney, it was always super fun.
What's up, little Dave?
If Omaha Central or even if West Side came out or any of that, they would come out to play Kearney High football or soccer, basketball, whatever. They would I remember specifically, and the reason I brought up Central is because Central brought, I think, their boys and girls soccer teams out to play Kearney High, and they spent an extra hour leaving and getting here early because they had never seen the fields so open. And so they wanted to show this is what most of the state looks like.
This is what the rest of
I thought
Nebraska
that was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And again, Kearney's not some podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
No.
It is right off the interstate. It's the fourth most populous city in the state. But it's just interesting to me. I like that perspective. I like that. Now, granted, I wouldn't be all right, here's where we're going. There's an old Chicago that everyone in Kearney really likes. You should go check out.
It's not a destination thing, but if you're on your way through, it's nice there's some places to visit.
That has been one of the best parts about moving from further down the state is that now being in Omaha, there's actually variety. It's not just there's a new pasta place that opened in town. Oh, a third burger joint has hit Kearney.
Ooh.
Wow, another sports bar? Better check their wings out. That's all that was new to me in Kearney.
Sure, yeah. No, I went to speaking of pasta, I went to a place that makes their own pasta a couple weeks ago. It was really good.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, the homemade pasta is
now
elite.
Katie and I went out to eat once in Lincoln, and we had it was something like that. They had pitched that they had, we've got our homemade pasta, all this stuff, but they used jarred sauce. You defeated the whole process.
What are we
doing? Why would you do that? And and the only reason I knew that is because we were seated in a certain spot where I could peek back, and they were just pulling it off. What is that? Why do you spend all this time doing the hard stuff And like sauce isn't that incredibly difficult.
No,
comparative to homemade pasta.
I don't cook, but I believe sauce dramatically easier to make than homemade pasta.
Yeah.
Just common sense would tell me that.
Yeah.
Homemade pasta is a game changer though. I'm a big fan. Do you have any holiday plans coming up?
Yeah, we're all travel.
Yeah.
We're all travel.
Oh, because you guys are all spread out, right?
Yeah, because we got to go to her hometown. We're going back to Kearney because my Alaskan niece is back in the States. So
nice.
They just landed yesterday. I was pretty pumped about
famously, Alaska is part of the States.
Well, I mean, back in these states.
That's contiguous.
Yeah. Is that it? Contiguous?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that means congenial.
All
together. They're all stuck.
Yeah, they're all together.
Yeah, no, they're back. We'll be down Sunday, Monday. Just do a quick family Christmas there, and then back here for Tuesday because you got to make me work, and then we'll go out to the future wife's family after that, and then I got to go back to go to Custer County for extended family after that. So,
bro, you drive a lot.
I love miles.
You do. You
love miles.
You putting the miles on.
Yeah, and you don't get like frequent flyer cards or anything.
No,
like
not
that.
when you're driving.
No, it sucks.
You should get a little like private pilot's license and like take a little,
No, I read Hatchet. I don't need that. No, I'm good.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I think that's like 5th grade mandatory reading in Nebraska.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, 100%.
It's traumatizing. Maybe that's why I don't like flying. They traumatize me.
Listen, Hatchet. Yeah, that book's crazy.
Do you guys have like any traditions or anything? Do you have like as you're a big Christmas tradition family?
We do too. My mom does a full baking day where she makes just 1,000 different types of like Christmas items. So we do like the frosted pretzels. Katie's brought in Oreo balls, which is just like cheese, like basically cheesecake with like Oreo, like just stuck in there. Christmas cookies, sugar cookies, like all that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. She'll get everyone involved. So I'm looking forward to obviously the sweets. And then she makes enough that she just packages them up and sends them out to everybody. So she'll give us like 8 tins and just be like, give this to someone in your life. We're like, okay, so nice. you may end up with one.
Let's go. Let's get some tins.
We don't have any we don't have any neighbors anymore that we like, so you might end up getting those. And then morning of Christmas, my oldest brother, who's a coffee connoisseur, he'll get a coffee flight that we'll all taste test and
nice.
try. And he's real into it.
Is he?
Yeah. He lives in Little Bohemia, so he's into coffee.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to live down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
going on. It's very a lot of hipstery down there.
My favorite part of Little Bohemia is the Visit North Platte billboard. That is insane every time I drive by that. No one in Little Bohemia is visiting North Platte. I promise you that.
Maybe they'll visit it ironically. Like like what is this? What's going on?
Let's go see Fort Cody.
They visited as a bit.
That's just crazy.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Do you guys do like Christmas movies or anything?
Oh yeah, at the fiance's house for Christmas Day, her dad will just sit in his recliner after everyone opens presents, and he just flips through movies. And he'll watch full movies. I could even credit there. He doesn't change channels. When he lands on a movie, he sticks to it.
Sticks it.
And I think our record was 7 in a day that we sat and watched.
Jeez, that's a lot of movies.
I'm for it though.
I like a good movie.
Christmas Day is the most horizontal day of the year for me. I don't if I'm over 2,000 steps, I did it wrong.
More so than Thanksgiving.
No, Thanksgiving I run in the morning. Thanksgiving. Oh. You gotta work. You gotta work for your meal.
Don't have to.
Yeah, I gotta get a movement out before I get the food in. So,
what kind of movement? Like
a BM.
Like blood flow? Like
yeah.
Do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Good question. Holdovers is very good. Holdovers is up there.
I don't think I know
it's
that.
It's a newer one.
Okay,
yeah,
I don't think
it's
I know
just
that
a couple years older. It's not just great Christmas movie, great movie.
Oh, okay.
General. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nostalgic for Gremlins. I actually really like Gremlins.
Okay.
Notable Christmas movie.
Okay.
And I'll flip on A Christmas Story. I'm good for that once. I do it once. I don't leave it on all day.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, and I understand why.
I think it sucks.
After I watch it, I'm good.
Like
that's what we happen. Like me and Mark, we look at each other. We just go, we're just getting through this because we have to, and then after it's done.
You really don't have to though. Like
You're
nobody's
right.
making you watch it.
That's fair.
Gremlins is a fun movie.
See,
I feel like I have a very high standard for Christmas movies,
as you should,
and not necessarily about the quality, more about the content. I feel like we lump a lot of things into Christmas movies that are not.
Okay.
And I've landed here on my argument. If the plot does not require it to be Christmas, It's not a Christmas movie. Like Home Alone could have been on summer vacation very easily.
Oh, wow. This is like Ravi's Hall of Fame list all over again.
Yes.
Is not a Christmas movie.
It's not. That could have been any type of holiday. That could have
I
been
see what you're saying, though,
any
because
like Christmas has to be central to the plot of the movie. Otherwise, it's just a movie that happens to happen during the winter time.
But they're traveling for Christmas. Like their holiday plans are to go to Paris.
But you very easily could have been traveling for any other thing.
No. You
could have been traveling for any other reason.
Well, but then the Wet Bandits only rob houses because they're empty on Christmas.
They're empty during vacation. It just happens to be Christmas.
They say specifically it's Christmas.
They're on vacation. That's it. That could very easily happen.
They're staking out houses to see who is hosting holiday parties and who's not.
You know what? You could do that also during summer vacation.
No, because during summer vacation, people don't host big parties at their home all the time.
No, but they do go on vacation.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Yes, you are. You almost had me again, but you're wrong. Home Alone is a quintessential Christmas movie.
No, it's not. It's a Wonderful Life, not a Christmas movie, and also not a good movie. That movie sucks.
Wow.
It's a Wonderful Life is one of the worst movies of all time.
It's like reverse racism.
Awful.
It's crazy.
Just terrible movie.
Yeah.
Die Hard, not a Christmas. And I'm not saying Die Hard's
happened
a bad
at
movie.
Christmas, not Christmas.
Yeah, just happened to be during Christmas.
Fair.
That party could have been at any time.
Yeah.
Does not matter.
Okay.
Like
A Very Jonas Christmas.
Can't say that one's in the
Rolodex.
I agree, Wyatt. Not only is It's a Wonderful Life out as a Christmas movie, it should be out as a movie.
Well, all right.
It's a bad movie. That guy is just an a-hole to his family for 2 hours.
So you mean to tell me?
Yeah.
The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when Santa shows up, is not a Christmas movie? Santa's in the film.
I'm going to be honest, I don't recall that part.
How dare you?
Wasn't a big...
I forgot you were like 25 when that movie came out.
I was 18. How dare you?
Did you go to Westroads for that one?
No, I was in Norfolk. It's awful.
Whoa, that is terrible.
Terrible. We had just gotten back from a basketball trip, and a bunch of people from school were going to see Chronicles of Narnia, and I was like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Norfolk and literally every person I know in this town is at the movie theater, so I guess I'm going.
People of Norfolk hanging out in two places. That's the Wendy's and the movie theater.
Nothing against Norfolk. I'm sure it's a fine place.
Nah, I posted something to me about Scottsbluff yesterday, so I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. I had 2 Scottsbluff people DM me. They're like, "What's the hate for?" And I was like, "You get it."
Travis is correct here. He says there's objectively only one answer for best Christmas holiday, and it is the movie ever, and it's Muppets Christmas Carol. It's phenomenal.
I do like that one.
It's
of
incredible.
course you do, Shane.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
Shane, are you a big Muppets guy?
Not so much, but I mean that one's totally in my wheelhouse.
You know the best part of that movie is Michael Caine plays that thing 100% straight.
Yeah. No.
Like he acts like
it's a real movie to him.
It is a real movie, but he acts like he's on Broadway.
Yeah.
Like he is just dead center talking to a freaking gonzo, and he's just like in every bit of seriousness. Like he is not
Michael Caine.
Like he is not talking to a tiny version of a puppet frog.
Yeah.
And just being like,
does he have any scenes with Swedish Chef in that?
You know what, Bob Cratchit, you're making some good points.
I don't think the chef's in it.
I think he is. No, the Swedish Chef's not. Beaker's in it. The other nonsense. He's in it. I don't think Swedish Chef is in it. I don't believe so.
The Yip Yip Aliens.
Those
are
I don't
my favorite
think
Muppets.
the Yip Yip Aliens are in there. I just think it's phenomenal that Michael Caine plays that thing like it is the most serious piece of acting he's ever done in his life, and it's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also a game, we don't have to play it right now, but
Gonzo isn't a frog, you heathen.
No.
Gonzo's an alien.
I was talking about 2 different people, Rico. Jeez. Kermit, very famously, is a frog.
Go cut your hair, Rico.
Good Lord,
Come
Rico.
on.
Pay attention to the show.
Seriously.
Gonzo is an alien. That's revealed in Muppets from Space. Travis, that's...
revealed in, what are you, in Muppets lore?
Oh, there's some lore.
So, like, there's the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Muppet Cinematic
100%.
Universe?
Muppet Treasure Island, really, really good.
You're saying words that don't exist. That's not real.
Yeah,
Muppets Treasure Island?
Yeah, it's incredible.
The only treasure I recognize for movies, Treasure Planet.
Is the Crown. Oh, sorry. Thought we were going back to the Crown.
No,
Crown talk.
Crown, yeah.
No, there's a Muppet Treasure Island. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good.
Rizzo the Rat deserved an Oscar.
Muppets Take Manhattan.
So that's an older one. I watched that when I was a kid. I don't remember it as well. It's not as good. I feel like the 80s ones aren't as good.
Isn't it Jason Takes Manhattan?
It's a different thing.
Oh, really? Is that a Christmas movie?
Friday 13th Part 8 or whatever it is.
Shane would know. Of course he knows.
Freddy versus Jason, Christmas movie?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch.
Krampus? Krampus, Christmas movie?
I don't watch horror movies, so.
Oh, okay.
I would assume because
What about Violent Night? Were you on that? It's for Christmas.
That's the one David Harbour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notable good person?
Haven't seen it. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I would assume Krampus is a Christmas movie because of the context of the character.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of, only from The Office, where Dwight Schrute dresses up as Krampus one year.
Yeah.
So I would assume that he is that qualifies as a Christmas movie.
Are you out on Polar Express?
I was too old when it came out. Like, it didn't hit in the right.
Oh, that's when you were 25.
Era for me. Yeah. No, I think I was like 14 or something. Like, it just wasn't my time frame. And also, I'll be honest, the animation freaks me out a little bit.
I didn't realize Tom Hanks was every character in that movie. It kind of ruins it for me now.
Really?
Yeah. He was the kid, the hobo, he was the conductor, and he was Santa.
I think I knew that.
That's way too many. That's way too many.
Listen, he's just killing it. Yeah, so I was 17 when that movie came out. So that was a little.
So you could go to the Chronicles of Narnia, but you couldn't watch the Polar Express.
Okay, so you have to understand there's a very weird
Millard North tie?
No, absolutely not. I was in college. The evangelical community loves C.S. Lewis. That's a fact. Like, that is just the evangelical community loves C.S. Lewis. I went to a evangelical Christian college, so they were like, C.S. Lewis movie, we're in. That's what it was. 100%. Like, if I'm being honest, that's why everybody in that. It was the biggest movie premiere in that town since The Passion of the Christ. It was. I'm not even kidding. I don't know why you're laughing.
So funny.
Big C.S. Lewis people.
A lion gets sacrificed, and they're like, "Yes."
It is very different from the rest of his writing. Like, it's funny that C.S. Lewis is both, the writer of the Chronicles of Narnia and
Danger the Lion is Jesus. Yeah, I picked up on that.
Aslan.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it is very funny. Like, it's weird.
I've learned a lot about you in the past 30 minutes.
It'd be like C.S. Lewis is like if J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings, but also wrote all the Malcolm Gladwell books. Like, that's like C.S. Lewis's bibliography is very strange.
Good for him.
Like, the Chronicles of Narnia is a huge outlier compared to all of his other writing. It's odd. But yeah, evangelicals are obsessed with him. At least they used to be. When I was, more involved, they were. So it's a big thing.
I've learned so much today. This is incredible. Like, I'm really glad I hosted for DB today because I'm learning things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do before.
Trying to think.
Is this what they call street knowledge?
Streetwise? I forget who I was talking to the other day. I think it was Kyle and somebody else was in there. I had like a 30-minute conversation about how I almost became a pastor. I didn't really almost become a pastor. I went to school to be a pastor.
You lore dump a lot in the office.
Yeah, I think I've led many lives. Like, I've had a lot going on.
Yeah, you're like C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, I got the Chronicles of Narnia, and then I got, the Great Divorce over here. That's actually not about divorce. Mine was, but his wasn't. His was about other stuff.
No, I picked up on that.
Screw tape letters, mere Christianity.
So, are you a pastor then?
I am technically ordained. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so if I ever get married,
I got you. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I married my my best friend Busky and his wife. We married them, and I believe that ordainmentship is good forever.
Forever.
That's what the internet tells me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Famously, my churches would not ordain me because they viewed as a heathen. But the internet's like, we got you.
It happens.
We got you.
Whatever. The state recognizes it.
The internet recognizes it. That's all that matters.
That's all that really matters. The internet loves you.
We live online.
Yeah.
That's where we are. Let's take a super quick break here. And then we'll get to...
I don't want to take a break. I like this conversation.
No, we got to pause this somehow.
We got to get to college football playoff preview, and I don't have a good transition, so we're just going to take a break. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be right back.
It's the season of savings at Edwards Buick Chevrolet. Lease the 2025 Buick Envista Preferred starting at $249 a month. Luxury, wrapped and ready for the holidays. More reasons to celebrate this season. Or lease the 2026 Chevrolet Trax LS starting at $259 a month. Compact style, ready to roll into the new year. Your season of savings starts at Edwards Buick Chevrolet.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. While this might be our second home, you need to look at the My First Home programs from Centris Federal Credit Union. If you're looking for your first home, stop just playing around on the apps and doing things like that. If you're serious about it, go to centrisfcu.org because their My First Home program gives you not only the expertise you need and the guidance you need to guide you through that process, they also offer up to 105% financing with no private mortgage insurance required. Get started today, centrisfcu.org. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender and federally insured by NCUA. Asian Wyatt says, a Ravi 30 for 30 would be fascinating. The Last Pastor.
Great title. Like,
incredible
off
title.
Of title alone, I'm watching it.
Yeah, you're in?
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Travis is always here for the Ravi lore. Yeah,
you drop lore better than anybody, and it's good lore.
So I think I get it from my dad. Mm-hmm. I learn things about my dad like every 6 months that I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you kind of forget your parents had like lives before you
are
were
like
around.
Actual real people.
Yes, yeah.
And I got to tell you, my dad's life is insane. What? Like this was probably like a decade ago where he's like, oh, yeah, I used to fly fighter planes before I left India. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Why are you holding this? Why didn't you tell any of us?
He's like, it never came up.
It never
came up.
That's a great bar. It always hits.
And it's true. It has not come up. I've never been like, Dad, did you ever like fly fighter planes for any reason? He's like, no, and it never came up.
Nope, never came up. Not a big deal.
He knows like 8 different languages.
Whoa.
He just like he's lived everywhere.
7 more than me.
Me too. He's lived everywhere. He was I'm almost positive that he's not part of an Indian mafia, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you never can know for sure.
Never can know for sure. He was I got suspicious when he told me he was an importer exporter out of Hong Kong for a while, and I go, what? Gonna be honest, Dad. We're getting a little suspicious around here.
Suspicious.
So, yeah, I think I get it from my dad, where I just drop lore on people and like, wait, what? What do you mean you used to make eyeglasses?
But your lore is interesting. That's the difference between like other people dropping lore.
Fair,
right?
you know.
I can drop lore and everyone's like, okay.
You're like, all right, good Sydney stuff.
You moved cows. Sick. Congrats on the summer of 15, buddy.
Tell us about the top-rated movies in Sydney history. Austin dropped on me during the break. He goes, the reason he was laughing so hard when I'm talking about Chronicles of Narnia and The Passion of the Christ, he goes, the top 3 movies in Sydney history, because they apparently have it all on a billboard somewhere. are Passion of the Christ,
1,
The Blind Side,
2,
and Chronicles of Narnia.
I never understood why.
Now you do.
Now I get it. I get it.
Now you do. Now you get
Star Wars, past all of those. Star Wars heathens comparative to C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Heathens.
I will say, and Stephen brought up a good point. There are a lot of people who are not evangelicals that appreciate the fine work of C.S. Lewis, but the evangelical community is like very big on him. They're
huge.
That's our guy.
Huge.
Most of them have never read anything besides Mere Christianity, so or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. After that, they get kind of like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
But after, they've read a couple books, so that's a positive.
Read a couple books. You want to do playoff barometers?
Let's do some playoff talk here.
Okay. All right. So I was sitting on this, and obviously you could go through picks. We'll get to bet on it at the end of the show, and we'll do all these, college football playoff breakdowns. But I wanted to try to pick your brain about every single first-round team's best opportunity to make a run. Because notably, I don't know if you remember last year, but plucky underdog, 8-seeded Ohio State.
Plucky underdog, much like DB's Dodgers.
Yeah, they made a run unlike we have seen so far in the sport. I mean, when was the last time an 8-seed won the college football playoff? It was 2024.
When's the last time an 8-seed won the NCAA basketball tournament?
I don't know.
1985.
Okay, well, good to know. So thank you for that. Anyway, so I wanted to kind of fill out this because I actually did this a little bit in my own head and wrote it all out, and I did a little bit of some just generic-looking stat broadcasting, and I was surprised at the team that actually came out that from what this is, subjectively, came out to say, okay, this team actually has the best chance to maybe make a run at a college football playoff, semifinal, national championship, that sort of such. So you start very generically at the top. Who do you believe in the first round has the best offense out of first-round teams?
I want to make it clear, you have not prepared me for this.
No.
This is...
I literally told you 12 hours ago
that you were going to do this, and then you got more specific in the break.
Yes.
But so in the first round, best offense. So we're looking at James Madison, Oregon, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tulane, Ole Miss, Miami, Texas A&M.
Yes.
So out of that group, I think statistically, Oregon would probably rank pretty highly, but I've got a Dante Moore problem.
I know you do.
I don't really trust him. Maybe DB's infected my brain. I don't know. My next answer would be Ole Miss, but I don't know what they are without Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
So I don't
But you like their first matchup, too. The offense can kind of fine-tune itself.
Yeah, they're going to have a shot to, against Tulane. Although, I don't know, man. The Ole Miss Tulane thing is very interesting to me because I have no idea what to expect from Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think this whole season, end of the season, is a very strange thing for them. I do not know what to expect. I don't know their defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach, whose name escapes me right now. I have no idea. Golding, I think his name is. I have no idea if he's a good coach at all.
Yeah, we have no idea.
And I think people that I talk to that kind of do this for a living in terms of evaluate coaches and stuff, they were pretty shocked that was the move. So I don't know what to expect here at all. So I don't feel good saying Ole Miss. Obviously, Miami has their issues offensively. James Madison's a really good offense, but I don't know what to expect against a really, really good Oregon defense. I don't know if I trust Alabama enough, especially against an Oklahoma, especially a really good Oklahoma defense. I think I have to go Oregon by default, but I don't feel good about it.
That's fine. And again, you're not picking the full team. You're just picking the best offense.
I know. I'd feel better about it if I was picking the whole team because I like their defense a lot.
A little bit easier in terms of you can determine who's good and who's not, but best defense.
So best defense.
There's two that stand out to me.
So first round, I think it's Miami.
Okay.
I think Miami's Oklahoma's really good defensively. Oregon's really good defensively, as I mentioned, but from when I've seen, and I don't know if I just can't get Ruben Bain out of my head because he's so disruptive. I think it might be Miami.
Okay. Who's your favorite coach or best coach in this first round?
So this is actually really challenging because
we have a lot of question marks.
Yeah. So obviously you got Mike Elko and Mario Cristobal. So Cristobal's immediately eliminated.
Yes. You don't know anything about Ole Miss.
Golding is immediately eliminated. Tulane's head coach is gone. I mean, I guess Summerall's finishing, right?
Right.
But I don't really know what to do with that.
Yep.
I'm not a Brent Venables guy. I love Kalen DeBoer, but I think he's underperformed a little bit.
Yep.
And you've got the same
and also 0-2 against Oklahoma.
Yeah. And you've got the same situation with James Madison that you do at Tulane with Chesney. So
you're kind of, it sounds like you're falling into the best offense category again, where you're defaulting.
yeah, I'm sort of trying to eliminate, like, I like Lanning as a program guy. I don't know about like an in-game as much.
Yep.
I think I'm going to land on Elko.
Okay.
I think I'm going to take Elko, although Lanning is in the conversation for sure.
Okay. A little bit harder, so I wanted to give you some time to be able to think about this, and we can come back to it if need. Do you have a best individual player across all teams? Like, is there one that stands out above the rest for you?
Yeah, so, I mean, we talked about some of these guys when we're talking transfer portal and quarterbacks and stuff like that. It's really easy to go quarterback here. I think in terms of, and I don't know what his numbers ended up on the season, but in terms of guys that I've seen dominate a game and just kind of really, really wow me, I think I might have to go with Ruben Bain from Miami.
Okay.
Just like he's so disruptive on that defensive line for Miami. I feel okay about that. I didn't want to go easy and go quarterback. I think I'm going to go Ruben Bain.
This is where things get more interesting, and this is a lot more subjectivity from you.
Honorable mention real quick.
Yes.
I do love Ryan Williams from Alabama. Like, I get that he doesn't put up some of the same stats, but absolutely electric with the football.
I would have said Kawan Lacey, Ole Miss.
Kawan Lacey's also very, very good.
Easiest path.
Ooh.
Tough to say because, so this is more preliminary on who you play next, right?
Yes.
Because it's harder to project like down the line.
Like,
but
Ole Miss has Tulane, but then they have Georgia.
Yes.
Oregon has James Madison. Then they have Texas Tech. And then they would have the winner of Indiana versus Alabama, Oklahoma. There's not like a lot of easy paths. I mean, Miami, Texas A&M winner goes to play Ohio State. So they're automatically eliminated in the easiest path. They just are.
Yep.
Alabama and Oklahoma have to play each other and then Indiana. So they're automatically eliminated. So basically I'm down to either Ole Miss or Oregon. And I actually think Texas Tech might be better than Georgia, but I don't know. I'm going to say Oregon.
Okay.
I don't feel great about that.
Okay.
We're just first round easy,
just
right?
Basically first round, and then if you want to look ahead, it's
well, I mean, easy just for teams playing in the first round.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Because obviously a team with a bye has it.
Right, it makes it you have one less
way
game.
easier.
Yeah. Most battle-tested team, and this could just be kind of like off the hip. Like, which one do you think had the toughest path to get to where they are?
I don't know if it's toughest path, but in instant reaction, the team that I trust the most because I think they've been through it is Georgia.
Okay. I mean, not a first-round team, but yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. First-round team. Oh God.
See, this is where it gets interesting, right?
It's not A&M because their schedule was terrible.
Not Oregon. I mean, the only top 25 team that they actually played was Indiana.
And they lost. It might be Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a pretty rough schedule, I think, if I remember. I'm going to go Oklahoma.
They got bailed out a lot of times, too. And last one, most talented team overall. And I actually do have some rankings that help with this, if you would like it just to be filled in.
Most talented team overall. So, I mean, are you using the 24/7 talent rankings?
Yes. So this is.
So I know
that's that's essentially like where it's coming from. Yes.
So I assume Oregon's going to be high on that list.
Oregon, not the highest.
I assume Miami's high on that list.
Yes.
I assume Alabama's really high on that list.
You named the top 3 teams. Yeah.
If I'm sitting there, I probably just pure talent, I probably go Alabama.
Okay. All right. So you had Oregon, the best offense, Miami, the best defense, best coach was Mike Elko, Ruben Bain, the most individual player for Miami, the easiest path being Oregon, most battle-tested team is Oklahoma, and the most talented overall is Alabama. And again, this isn't like some computer ranking. I didn't put this into some Excel sheet or like power rank any of these things. I actually came out with all of this. The winner of the Alabama-Oklahoma game, to me, has one of the more clear paths, even having to go through Indiana in that Rose Bowl, because Alabama and Oklahoma Oklahoma's offense is notably worse than Alabama's, but Alabama's defense statistically is not that far behind one of the top defenses in total defense. Oklahoma's a top 10 defense, arguably maybe one of the best defenses overall in the country. Alabama only sits 3 spots behind them.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have the highest overall rating of 5-star talent and then former 4-star talent that is currently residing on the roster, plus their portal additions. I believe they're the second team in the first round that has the most. And they play an Indiana team that moves up that they would obviously have a talent advantage over in that regard. Maybe not, of course, what the on-field play says too.
I just can't get over the Signetti of it all.
Fair.
You know?
Now, the other part of it as well is that they can win in close games. They've had the closest margin of victories over SEC opponents, which I know you kind of find to be a bit of a hoax, but they are playing an SEC team again, and they're playing Oklahoma for the second time this season, and it would be in Norman. So if you get past that test, who's to say that you can't keep moving forward?
I just hate how Alabama's playing right now.
Absolutely.
Like,
and
that's the hard part.
I
That's the
completely
hard part
agree.
here.
And so that's where I'm coming from, that it's weird to look at all these because the second team that was on there is actually Miami. When I looked at, yes, they have one of the highest rated overall talents. You can argue that they have some of the best individual pieces that kind of fit around. If you get a good Carson Beck, anything's possible with good Carson Beck. But
also Mario Cristobal will crap away a game.
100%.
You know?
And you don't like their matchup with Ohio State, neither would I.
No.
But as you look kind of down the list, I think the top of the bracket favors a run from a first-round team more than the bottom bracket because
I would agree.
Indiana in the Rose Bowl game, again, you don't want to keep labeling Indiana things that they haven't already proven. They haven't been to a Rose Bowl game. And really, the way that they celebrated that Big Ten championship game, you can kind of look and say, man, they really wanted that game. Like they were all in on that. Not saying that this is the cap of their season, but the number 1 overall seed that was the Big Ten champion lost in the Rose Bowl a year ago to the team that won the 8-9 game.
I think for me, I do think the top of the bracket is easier, but I think it's because Georgia and Ohio State, I think, are my favorites coming out of this. I think it has less to do with Indiana and more to do with just the bottom half, I think, is a juggernaut.
I do think that there's a chance that whoever wins the 8-9, Alabama, Oklahoma, has a good enough defense, and I think it's Alabama with a competent enough offense that if they don't play outside of their own brain, I think they can muck it up and win 2 or 3 games and end up in a semifinal that we wouldn't be surprised by.
We will make our picks in Bet On It after this next segment. We're going to talk to Wilson Moore from the Omaha World Herald about some Husker hoops. That's awesome. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the season of New Tradition sales event at our brand new Edwards Kia Council Bluffs location. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at just $249 a month. Brand new showroom, big holiday savings. Or lease the 2025 Kia Telluride S starting at $329 a month. Or finance at 0.9% for 60 months. Plus, every new purchase includes a free electric scooter. Don't wait. Celebrate the season at our brand new Edwards Kia location in Council Bluffs.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Wilson Moore. He covers Nebraska basketball for the Omaha World Herald. Wilson, how are we doing this morning?
Doing pretty well. Thanks for having me.
Wilson, good to hear from you and talk with you. Last time I saw you, it was a cold day in early December. Now it's a cold day in mid-December. So I'm just glad that Husker basketball has been keeping you warm with all of your travels. How was that Illinois trip?
It was great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite arenas in the Big Ten. Been there a few times now. Best media seating in the Big Ten. You're right behind the bench in front of the student section. You just got the wall of sound coming down on you. That's a great environment there in Champaign. Made for a pretty great basketball game.
Were you worried about getting out there? Because there was a blizzard going on outside, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, going into the game, I was a little up in the air. I was like, maybe I'll try to, just swing it right around and make it back to Nebraska. Like after the game, I think if it had been real quick, I would have done that. And then I think maybe I could drive a few hours, like Peoria, Illinois or something, chop a few hours off to the next day, stay there. And then the snow hit and I just stayed another night. Made it a lot simpler.
Rough having to stay in Champaign 2 days in a row. That's terrible.
Listen, Champagne's great. People hate on Champaign. I'm a big Champaign guy.
Not bad. Like I've been there a few times. Like there are worse college towns.
100%. There's way worse college towns. I mean,
you want to tell us those worst ones, or are you keeping that a secret?
You've been to State College recently?
I haven't been to State College. Why not? Bottom of my list is Stillwater, Oklahoma. I went there once. It was not a good time.
I mean, listen, you pick any school town in Oklahoma, and you're pretty much safe. Stillwater, Norman,
Edmond, if you go D2, like any of those.
There's not a lot positive going on there. Wilson, there is a lot positive going on, obviously, for Nebraska basketball. And listen, I'm gonna start throwing some tough ones at you quick here, because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at their schedule, and obviously you feel pretty good about the next two games with North Dakota and New Hampshire. You don't feel like you're fast forwarding too much to get them to 13-0. And I'm looking at the rest of the schedule and I go, like a 24-25 win season is on the table. Have you allowed yourself to start thinking about the ceiling of this team in terms of regular season and what seeding that could relate to in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, a little bit. I think the big thing for me that I've thought about with thinking ahead on this team is how close they are to 20 wins already.
Mm-hmm.
If you if you think of that as kind of you get there, you're probably gonna make the tournament. Assuming they take care of business in these next two games, they'll be at 13 wins going into January. At that point, they could hit 20 by mid-February. So I was just thinking of that, of just what does it take for them to get to that threshold, that they're comfortably in the tournament, and then just stacking on from there.
So when you look at kind of what's up next for this holiday stretch, and we heard from Fred yesterday talking a little bit about staying focused and not focusing on the semi-vacation that comes up. How hard is it for the team to not look 3 games ahead and say, hey, beginning of January is kind of not necessarily even a turning point of the season, but it has a chance to raise even a higher ceiling for Nebraska. Is that the focus for the team, or is there something else that the team is looking forward to in these next couple of non-conference matchups?
Yeah, I think that point that you make is going to be kind of a test in and of itself of this team's, focus and resolve. They're flying high right now. Number 15 team in the country, just picked up a big road win early in conference play. I think, if you're Nebraska, what you're looking for out of these next two games is just leave no doubt. Don't come out flat. Be locked in for all 80 minutes of basketball across these two games. I think that would be a sign that they didn't get complacent. They haven't lost that kind of edge and that urgency that guided them. So I think that's what I'm watching for these next two games, is just will they come out with the right amount of of resolve that they need and just take care of business even when the stakes aren't as high and you don't have quite the environment, the edge helping push you through that.
Wilson, as you look at this Nebraska team and what you've seen from them so far this year, about just right around a third of the way through the season, what type of opponent do you think would give this particular Nebraska team the most trouble? Who worries you the most?
I would say someone big and physical in the front court that gets a lot of rebounds. I mean, saying Michigan might be a cop-out with the way they're just
I think Michigan scares everybody
in their path right now. But, I mean, I think, when you think about that Illinois game, what gave Nebraska the most trouble was rebounding, was allowing Illinois to get offensive rebounds. That's because Illinois is a big, long, physical team. So I think that's just like the archetype that, has the ability to give Nebraska the most trouble, is just teams that really get after it on the glass, really test Nebraska's ability to box out and be physical, and contrast Nebraska's more, finesse, skill-based style of basketball.
Wilson, I think the conversation that has been prevalent with so much of Nebraska's success so far has been twofold. It's been people saying Rink Mass rise to the level of play people expected him to be at coming off the injury, and then also everyone identifying their roles and playing kind of that team version of basketball that's worked so well. Outside of Mast, is there another player for Nebraska that you've identified so far through 11 games that has really been the straw that stirs the drink, that this guy is the key cog in the machine that maybe even gets Mast going or keeps the team in tune when they start to hit a little bit of a lull?
Yeah, I'd say Price Sanford. He's a guy they brought in from Iowa, kind of on the pitch of like, hey, you were just kind of a spot-up shooter, stand in the corner guy in Iowa. You can be more than that in Nebraska. And he has been. He's starting regularly for the first time in his career. Obviously, everyone has seen how well he can shoot, most notably in that first half against Illinois. But he's done a lot in the offense. He's a guy that they've empowered a little bit more to put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, find his spots, and create his own offense rather than just being, the end result as a three off of something else. So I think Price Stanford's been really big for them. His rebounding has improved this season, just as a guy who can kind of get things going early, as you saw against Illinois, and really stretch out a defense, and create looks for other guys just with the sheer amount of attention he gets on the perimeter when he's hot.
Wilson, where is this Nebraska team better than you anticipated they'd be this year?
I'd say defensively so far. That was my concern coming in, or one of my reservations coming in, was I didn't know that they really had, the defensive stoppers along the perimeter other than like Sam Hoiberg and Jamarcus Lawrence, and B, the rim protection underneath the basket. But when you watch them there, especially these past, I would say Creighton and Wisconsin were their two best performances in this, just like their communication and the way they hustle and fly around on defense. It's been better than I expected, especially after, some of the, felt like, Winthrop and USC Upstate kind of found some things that worked for them offensively against Nebraska, but Nebraska's just activity and hustle, and it was just a flurry against Creighton and Wisconsin. It really kind of tied up a couple of those loose ends.
Do they still have some warts? There was the conversation in the offseason about like how do the pieces fit together, and you mentioned Sanford and Mast, and obviously kind of the whole conglomeration of pieces. But is there been still some concern that, like Ravi had asked earlier, that Nebraska still needs to worry about or needs to improve on to keep the winning streak going, especially when you've got Michigan State that's coming up here in just a few?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, they've it's very early in the season. I'll say that much. There's Nebraska is 11 games into a season that's 31 in the regular season, and Nebraska hopes more than that. There's a lot that can happen. It's a season of adjustments. Teams will, there'll be more film on them. Teams will figure things out. They'll figure things out. Nothing is set in stone at this point in the season.
Wilson, anything that you're looking towards if you're Fred Hoiberg, we're heading towards the end of the year. What would be your New Year's resolution for Nebraska basketball this year?
New Year's resolution. To win that first tournament game. I think, It's one of those things in Nebraska basketball that, like, that's going to be a thing until it's not, until Nebraska wins that first tournament game. That's going to be the kind of thing that hangs over the head of the program at all times. And this certainly seems to be a team capable of ending that. March is all about matchups, so a lot of it comes down to that. But I mean, just, because it's one of those things that if you're Nebraska, once you win the tournament game, you never have to hear about that again. So, I think it's sort of one thing at a time, end that, and you go from there.
Wilson, last one for me, but with Nebraska's next couple of matchups getting closer to Michigan State, do you see them staying where they are right at 15 in the polls? Could they climb a little bit with the rest of college basketball, or do you think we will keep it at a top 15 matchup when we get to Lincoln for that first weekend?
Yeah, I would say if they take care of business, they beat North Dakota and New Hampshire in a way that I think most expect them to. I could see them staying at 15. Neither of those are teams that, like, if you beat them, that's really going to move the needle much. But, if someone at, I don't know who exactly is at, like, 12, 13, 14 right now, but if one of those teams takes an unexpected loss, that could, shift things a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That is Wilson Moore, covers Nebraska basketball for the Omaha World Herald. Wilson, appreciate the time, and enjoy your holidays, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Wilson.
That's Wilson Moore from the Omaha World Herald. Let's take one last break here. We will get to Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook and Casino, and get our college football playoff picks in before the opening round of games starts tonight. We've got college football playoffs tonight.
It's good to have football on a Friday.
It is good to have football on a Friday. I miss it. We move away from high school season. We don't get Friday football for a couple weeks.
And we had a great one last night.
Great.
Hopefully we get a great one tonight.
Yes. I actually think Oklahoma-Alabama is kind of my, like, of the first round games, that and Texas A&M, Miami, I think are the most interesting ones.
We just can't have that Indiana or Notre Dame game we had last year. That was rough.
Yeah, we don't need that.
That one was never in doubt.
Let's get some good ones going on this year.
Get a good one.
That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be right back. Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the season of new tradition sales event at our brand new Edwards Kia Council Bluffs location. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at just $249 a month. Brand new showroom, big holiday savings. Or lease the 2025 Kia Telluride S starting at $329 a month. Or finance at 0.9% for 60 months. Plus, every new purchase includes a free electric scooter. Don't wait. Celebrate the season at our brand new Edwards Kia location in Council Bluffs.
Fun Millard night. Liz got us off to a great start. Thought the first half we were pretty good at both ends. Second half was more spotty. I felt like we let down defensively. We had too many turnovers. I think at half the turnovers were 13-1, and we had 9 second-half turnovers. So we got to clean that up. I told them we can't play to the score, and I felt like we did that a little bit in the second half. But it was nice to see everybody. These two were really good offensively, and made some plays on the other end too. So it's a process, but I think you see how talented our freshman group is, and happy for them. Hopefully they don't, because of the way they shot it, hopefully they're not thinking about leaving to come here and play in this gym. Jamie's going to do a good job here. I just think they're in a tough spot in terms of what the roster was left with, but they'll battle.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. It's time for Bet On It, brought to you by War Horse Sportsbook and Casino, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets, and frankly, the best place anywhere in the region to place your sports bets. Don't be a loser and go to Iowa. Only losers go to Iowa. That's 100% true.
That is true.
That is unequivocally proven. Don't go spend your money over there. Spend your money here. If you're going to bet, you got to drive anyway. Don't have mobile gaming in Nebraska yet, so you're either driving to Iowa to go sit in a parking lot somewhere, or you can go to the lovely War Horse casinos either in Lincoln or in Omaha and place your bets there and actually support your state. And or maybe you're a Hawkeye fan. If you're a Hawkeye fan, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're a Hawkeye fan, that's fine. You do what you want. But
would you rather sit in your car like off of an interstate off-ramp and just be
Culver's
like,
parking lot?
great, look where we are. God, I hate being here. Or would you rather sit in a beautiful sports book where you can sit there and just look around and be like, hey, mozzarella sticks. I'd love
Or you
those.
go to the ale house, get the restaurant there. Like, come on.
Have some fun.
You know the right thing to do. Let's get to our games here.
It's football.
It is football.
And college football.
I
want
to start with the, I think, most interesting line and most interesting game. That's Alabama and Oklahoma.
Starting hot.
Tonight.
Yep.
This one has crossed over the plane of zero.
Yeah.
It started off with Alabama as 1.5-point favorites. They are now 1.5-point dogs. The total has risen a point from 40.5 to 41.5. Oklahoma now favored by 1.5. What say you, Austin Jacobsen?
I kind of laid it out there earlier. If I'm picking one of these two teams, I think the team, if you want my hottest take, I actually think that the team wins this game, has the best chance to make the run, whether it's Alabama or Oklahoma, through the college football playoff, even potentially past Indiana in the Rose Bowl for their next round matchup. I don't love what I've seen for the past few weeks of what we've seen from Alabama football, especially in the SEC championship game. But
hot take.
Alabama's defense has been good enough, and I think that the offense is more competent than Oklahoma's, that if it's going to be a scrummy game, I am taking the under, and I'm taking Alabama. That's how I feel.
Can I just, I want to, not to take a victory lap here or anything,
Please,
but
yes, you love doing this.
It's one of my favorite things to do. It's part of the reason I love this job.
Yeah, right.
So you know how, I had my quarterback takes at the beginning of the year?
Yep.
You know what John Mateer's final stats were?
He missed games.
No, it's fine.
His hand fell apart.
You can miss the games, like still 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Okay.
62% completion. Like maybe the SEC was harder than the FCS schedule he played last year.
How dare you?
Maybe. I'm just saying. It felt like worth. Was he in the Heisman conversation? Really in it? No. Okay.
I put him in there.
Okay. Well, I mean, he was at the start of the year, but at the end of the year, I mean, I get he was banged up, but his average yards per completion was his lowest of his career, lowest touchdowns as a starter, highest interceptions of his career. Rushing yards are half of what they were last year in almost as many attempts.
Yeah.
Yards per carry was down a yard and a half from last year, half as many rushing touchdowns as last. I'm just saying, it's possible Ravi may have had a point.
Maybe. Maybe Ravi was right, but I'll never admit it.
All that being said, I'm taking Oklahoma.
It's insane.
I hate how Alabama's playing right now.
I understand.
I hate how they're playing.
And listen, of opportunistic defenses, stats-wise, they look the same. Oklahoma's defense makes game-winning plays, and they did against Alabama the first time.
I thought Alabama was going to lose to Auburn. I thought they got their head beat in by Georgia, way worse than that final score indicated. I don't like how Alabama was playing right now. I do think there's a weird thing hanging over the program with Kalen DeBoer and what's life in Tuscaloosa like if Tuscaloosa, not Tuscaloosa, that's not a thing. What's life in Tuscaloosa like for Kalen DeBoer if they lose this game?
Not good.
That gets pretty uncomfy.
He goes, U-Haul, Ann Arbor, quickly.
He goes, excuse me, I don't know who's making this hire because it's
Ward?
almost certainly not Ward Manuel, but I'm available.
I'm here.
Who do you think, if they had their choice between Kalen DeBoer and Kyle Whittingham, who do you think they take?
Oh, DeBoer. They take DeBoer.
Should they?
To bail him out? No.
Whittingham seems more like that's how Michigan wants to play football.
Yes. Yeah. He fits the mold more.
Like,
if they go DeBoer, there would be some people that would feel Rich Rod-esque. because of play style.
Yeah,
they would feel a certain way. But you'd also keep your investment in Bryce Underwood more than likely.
Probably. And, DeBoer is probably a sexier name at this point.
100% he's a sexier name.
But
he's got the black hoodie of death.
DB brought this up when this job first came open, and people were, somebody threw out Lincoln Riley, and they're like, oh, it wouldn't be Lincoln Riley. It might be Kellen DeBoer. And he's like, they're the same guy.
Yeah.
It's like it's Spider-Man meme. Like
they are.
They're just.
We can't win big games.
We both are QB gurus and pretty offensively focused. All right, let's move on to the Saturday slate of games. I am going to save the best for last, in my opinion, in terms of most interesting. We're going to go in descending order of spreads.
Okay.
Oregon is a 20.5-point favorite over James Madison.
20.5 is a lot, but that line's actually moved down quite a bit because they had it. I saw it as high as like 28 or 29.5 at like a different book when maybe it opened or when it was like way out of the way when these matchups first came out. I thought that gap was too high. 20.5 seems more realistic. I think I'd take Oregon. I think it's like 34-10 and something interesting like that. I could see like a late backdoor cover from James Madison. Oregon is for sure the better team. I just don't know how James Madison makes this a close game through 4 quarters.
So looking at Oregon over the course of the year, Washington 26-14, USC 42-27. They did blow out Minnesota. Iowa 18-16, Wisconsin 21-7. They did blow out Rutgers. They've played a lot of close games, is my point.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't blown out a ton of teams. I think James Madison is a little feisty. I'm going to take Oregon to win, but not to cover. I think James Madison covers the 20.5.
Okay. All right.
Let's move on to the next one. Ole Miss and Tulane. Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite against Tulane. And I have no earthly idea what Ole Miss is going to be.
This is going to be definitely cold, like Old Takes Exposed when it happens. I think Ole Miss just runs over them.
Okay.
I think that they are just going to try to prove to themselves and prove to everyone that, hey, no matter what, even if he's gone, we're still the Lane Kiffin offense. We're still dangerous. They might try to score 70 if they can. I think that they're just going to run up and down. Quan Lacey's minus 600 to score a rushing touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
That is an insane number. I mean, that is handing $1 and not getting anything back for it, for winning. They just give you the $1, like you just trade it and they hand it back to you.
Here you go.
Yeah. And I don't know, Tulane is tough. They're salty, but Ole Miss has way more weapons. They are far more talented. Everything leans towards Ole Miss's favor. But you're right. The coaching question is up in the air. And especially if this game is close and a coaching decision comes down to the wire, the fact that Tulane still has their head coach, and this is the very first coaching experience in a major opportunity or in any opportunity for Ole Miss, I don't want it to be close. I just think Ole Miss is going to do whatever they can to blow open the doors early on this one.
I'm taking Tulane to cover. I don't have...
You just want close games.
No, I have no level of confidence in Ole Miss and what, like, I have no idea what their offense looks like if Lane Kiffin isn't the one pulling the strings. I have no idea. I have no idea how big of a distraction this has been for them over the last 2 months, basically. I have no idea how many players on this roster are going to be at LSU next year.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So I think there is if it's talent for talent, yeah, Ole Miss kills them.
Okay.
Right? But I think there is way too much going on around Ole Miss for them. Like, I just don't think they cover. I think they win probably still, but out of all the out of the upsets, this one would surprise me the least, just because of all the circumstances going on with Ole Miss and how just messy that whole situation has been.
Ole Miss did win 45-10 on September 20th.
That's fine. September 20th, they knew who their head coach was.
It's fair. It's a good point.
September 20th that's the Lane train.
September 20th felt like a really good day when it started back in the day.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
It's been a while now.
It has been.
It's been a long
time. I kind of want to go back to the person I was back then.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, the last one, and I believe the most interesting Saturday game.
Can we also just say it is a travesty that this game is the Saturday morning game?
Yeah,
that's really insane.
That's got to be my primetime game.
That's crazy. Like, I almost would rather, maybe I'm off here. I'd almost rather move this to the Friday night game and put Alabama, Oklahoma. Like, if you're like, hey, this is the only spot that you can have this, I think I'd rather have this be the Friday night and do that Saturday morning.
I think they this should be one of the night games. Alabama, Oklahoma should be the other night game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't disagree there.
Like, this isn't hard, guys. Figure it out.
Damn TV.
Come on, TV. Not Tim VERGHESE. Television.
No, yeah, television. Sorry, Tim.
Oklahoma. Texas A&M is a -3 point favorite over Miami. What say you?
I like Miami.
You like Miami
here?
here?
Miami in this one. Yeah.
Big Miami guy.
I just think A&M, that South Carolina game is just stuck in my brain for so long and how pitiful they were. And I understand they had a great comeback. South Carolina was never in that second half. They didn't show up after the state trooper tried to bump them out of the field.
Hold on for dear life.
But I cannot get how bad. I don't think the quarterback has played as badly this season than Reese did in that first half against South Carolina, and I can't get that out of my head. Same thing with you with Alabama playing in that SEC championship game. Miami, again, the crystal ball of it all is the worst part because you know if it's like a 3 or 2 point game and Miami's in the lead, he'll like take a safety and be like, okay, good, it's tied up. Now we're good. He'll do something completely weird and dumb that you won't ever be able to understand or explain, and he'll go in the press conference being like, yeah, my bad. I just made a dumb decision. Yes, you do, Mario. You do it every once in a while. You hope that doesn't come to fruition. In my opinion, I think Miami has the more talented defense. I think they have the more opportunistic defense. A&M gets a lot of sacks. But if they give up the big play, I think Miami, if they've got good Carson Beck, this is a Miami team that has a good chance of moving into Ohio State and maybe putting a scare into the Buckeyes. I don't see the same with A&M.
If I had to make you pick right off the top of your head, because I assume you haven't looked them up recently,
okay,
who do you think had a better year, Marcel Reed for Texas A&M or Carson Beck for Miami?
I think Reed did.
So here's what it is. 2,900 yards passing, 61% completion, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for Reed.
Okay.
For Carson Beck, it is 75% completion.
Oh, wow.
3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Oh, okay. So
almost identical.
Almost identical outside of completion percentage.
Now, Reed did get 466 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. So you have to add that. But I think most people would agree with you.
Yeah.
I think most people, based on the way we talk about Carson Beck, this is the thing I was talking about last year.
Well, he always has. Like you talk about bad Mario, bad Carson Beck had a couple bad ones.
He'll have a game or two a year, and you're praying that it's not the one that you need him to win.
Yes.
But he'll have a game or two a year where he throws like 3 picks or just like 8 balls that you're just like, what happened? And you hope that that's not this game. That being said, I do think Miami wins this game. I'm going to take them minus. Listen, those are free points for me. I will take them with the +3 there.
Yep.
And I will happily listen. They're +136 on the money line. Might play around with that a little bit too. I think Miami wins this game outright.
Look at that.
I like the defense. I like Ruben Bain. I am absolutely terrified of Mario Cristobal ruining this.
I know. And that's the worst part about it all is you just like keep looking back. And
if it was any other coach, I would have 0 qualms.
Yeah.
0 qualms at all. Mario Cristobal is good for ruining at least 1 game a year.
That's the interesting part about all this with the NIL and everything else that comes with it too. Like when we get in the second round, you really trust McGuire over either the coaches he's going to face.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to trust? Like if it's Lanning and McGuire, you're like, wow, that's not necessarily a scheme off between these two guys, but it's more of like who can keep their nose clean, the easiest. But yeah, I mean, the coaching of it all. Your coach is going to make a difference in the semifinals and final, but for this first round, I don't think lack of coaching is going to be the biggest difference maker potentially in some of these key games.
Like a gaffe will be a bigger difference than like out coaching someone. Yeah, I think if you're betting on somebody to make a mistake, it's Cristobal's probably.
Can I get a
prop bet to like Cristobal does something stupid,
like misuses a challenge, or like what else could I do? Awards the other team a timeout. Trying to think.
I feel like
accepts a penalty on a turnover for his team or something along those lines.
Just Mario Cristobal does something stupid would be like minus 10,000. Like you would not get good odds on that. That is Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook and Casino. Keep that money in Nebraska, and listen. You go place a bet. Maybe you're there a little early. Go play some table games, play some slots. They got the whole thing for you there, right there at Warhorse, either in Lincoln or in Omaha. That is the show for today. What's up?
College basketball.
Taking
Nova over Wisconsin.
Okay. What's the line there?
No idea.
Okay, Nova over Wisconsin.
Like I like the vibes of it.
Big Nova guy.
For tomorrow.
All right, there you go. That is Austin Jacobsen. Thanks for filling in. I'm Ravi Lulla. Thank you, Shane. Rico back at the house, whoever's house.
The house.
In the house. Rico in the house.
No problem.
We will be back on Monday. That's Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.